Greetings. Hello. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Today I have a special treat. Um, but to give you that treat, I will need some help from myself to cope through it. So it's going to be rough for me. I'm going to need a couple substances to make it through this. Because today, under request from Nubrass, we are going to be doing a watch along party of a selected handful of my old sketch comedy videos. And I don't know if this is going to be a fun experience for y'all. Ras thinks it will be, and I hope it is. But I mean, I'll give out. I can answer questions, and I can. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Which are you talking about, me or my friend? I have to look at it again. But we'll be getting through about 8 of the videos, and I don't know if I can take much more than that. Let me light up real quick. Like I said, I need all the help I can get to not die from the concentrated cringe I'm going to experience. Well, thank you. The 80s hair. It's not lighting. Almost there. Hold on with me. Hold on. There we are. It is definitely a 50-cent crack lighter. I got it in Savannah, Georgia, and it's almost out. It's been with me for quite a while. I swear I had a nice a cigar lighter at one point, and I have this one. I didn't lose this one, but I did lose the nice one. I have no idea where that one is. Well, it's not quite there. React to Amu Aji. What is that? What is Amu Aji? Enlighten me. Help me reach Nirvana. Gosh. I don't know what that I don't know what those words mean. Man who hasn't bathed in 60 years. Okay. Once again, if you'd like to support the channel, you can like, comment, subscribe. There are a few different methods to pay for this channel. If you'd like to support it with a super chat, you can do Venmo, Cash App. I do have Bitcoin wallet. So far the coffers have $5 from Apophatic, our resident infant. And I got the money before I realized that he was a fetus, and now I feel dirty. I feel dirty about taking his money because I know it's his mother's money. I don't know if I have a good justification for keeping it, but yeah, we can look at that guy if we have time. I've got a good 2 hours in me today. It's been a good week. Streamed every weekday. Don't know how often that'll happen. I'd like to do it like at least 3 days a week, but the plan for this week was let's push through. Let's stream every day because I want to hit 500 subscribers for my birthday next week, and we'll be doing a birthday stream next Tuesday. I'll be turning 29, and thanks to Jim Bob, made by Jim Bob, he sent a raid over here, and we just bursted through that glass ceiling, lickety split. We reached 500. We jumped up like 40 subscribers that day. So the rest of this is just gravy. I'm just gonna follow through with that work habit. All right. Wait. Okay. So this is our potential bonus content. We're gonna tease it at the end. We might have time for it. Amu Aji was celibate, ate meat from dead animals he found, especially rotting porcupines, drank water from puddles and rusty oil cans, smoked animal dung using an old pipe, donned a war helmet. He sounds like a prophet, like Ezekiel, but way more unhinged, just like pagan Ezekiel. Can y'all hear me all right? I want to make sure my headphones are on. I keep doing that where... Okay, I just turned them off. So they were on. I did it correctly. That's one of my common issues is I play stuff and I can't even hear it. I'm like, what's going on? He sounds like Muhammad. Okay, well, maybe he's like standard Islamic prophet or something. I'm good. Y'all good? Okay, we're about to play this. We're about to get into the videos here. Once a few men attempted to forcibly give him a shower, but he managed to escape. And we could do an open panel today if anybody wants to watch along and help me cope. That'd be good for me. Because if it's just me watching these, it will be a little bit of silent suffering. And yeah. So without further ado, this is the first video that we'll be getting into today. And like I said, I do not live in a cave, and I do occasionally bathe. So I have a little bit of a heads above Abu Dhabi or whatever this man's name is. Okay, this video is called I Hate Pickles, and that's a true fact of life. They're my least favorite food of all time. All right. And look at him. I'm younger than what's his name? Nadim. I'm younger than Nadim there. I'm like 17 there, I think. 18, 17. Living at my mom's house. You can see how degen it all looks. Did take the time to clean the environment to make the video look better. It's a real snapshot of my life at the time. I look like an atheist apologist, but you can't remember who. So that was a video. I mean, I skeptic, you're wondering what's happening, and you might all be confused. The premise was that I hate pickles, and it's like a little horror movie sketch where I see them everywhere. They're haunting me. They're appearing above my shoulder. I turn on the TV and it's them. I reach for the remote control and it was a can of pickles, but then it turns back. Am I going crazy? And then I feel like I'm being haunted by them, and a little pickle smacks me right here, and then it just kind of fizzles. Could have ended a little bit better, to be real. That was so good. I mean, not gonna brag. I'm sorry that my little setup is that. Maybe I can show you my little setup here a little. I can't unplug things, but you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Y'all are here on top of this set of books, and whenever I laugh, it tends to do this little jiggly. So if y'all want to support the show, that's Lies and Slander. But yeah, if you want to support the show, you can please. Who are my comedy mentors? That's it's definitely changed over the years. I mean, growing up, it was comedy movies, or like really big fan of Robin Williams. I have to rack my brain on that to give you like a more definitive answer. I love Bill Burr. He's really funny. Bo Burnham is honestly one of my biggest influences. I've been keeping up with him. I don't know. This is like this is like the second edition. I think came in 3 volumes. But Bo Burnham, I've been following him since 6th grade when he was doing his comedy music videos, just him in his room. And I was really sad to hear that he is like ashamed of those videos now because they're racist and misogynistic and all these things. And he's like has all this white guilt. Because me, like I was an 11-year-old boy watching that when it also had like this feeling of danger to me because I grew up in a Protestant Christian home where I had many things off limit to me. And This was something that my friend showed me, and I was able to think it was really funny. And it was so edgy, and I felt dangerous listening to him. So I never was like, I hate women because I watched this. It was, wow, that's really funny, and he's really clever and a wordsmith, and the way he writes is really clever. So Bo Burnham is honestly one of my biggest comedy influences. Let's continue on, folks. Let's continue on. All right, this one, I might dip out for this one. Honestly, it's gonna get rough for me. We're not to like turn into another therapy sesh, but we are dipping into the deep recesses of my past here. So it's gonna be what it is. If anybody wants to join me, help me cope, you can watch along, give your thoughts, and I can maybe just get lost in my can of beer here. It'd be much appreciated. No. Where'd it go? I have it up, but it's not showing. There it is. Okay. Okay. And shout out to Irish Death, my favorite beer. Abbot Trifon at a local monastery here introduced me to it. So shout out to Abbot Trifon. All right, here we go. Let's just get through it.
Typical fees for renting a cat. I've never done this before, so I really need to know what the price range is going to be. What the hell is that?
That's my partner.
My little brother.
Infected with sloth.
Sloth?
Sloth. You get infected with sloth urine.
There definitely needed to be some editing there.
It makes you see things from a whole new perspective.
So dry. Speaking of dry, in the middle of that, it started drenching us. So let's just run now, I guess, and not get the camera wet.
That rain came out of nowhere. At least we're safe.
This was very guerrilla filmmaking. It was all like, I have an idea.
That's right, the sloth.
And a camera. Let's just go.
Have you seen The Walking Dead? No. Basically, the same rules apply here to the sloth.
I'll tell you after the video.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna have to
not
stop
eyeliner.
Right there. If we only get infected by urine getting in our eyes,
correct.
Why are we afraid of him? He's not a sloth.
When an infected sloth person touches your skin or your clothes, the infected metachlorians seep in and infect the whole system.
There he is.
Do you got that? Do you understand how dire the situation is?
Jay Dyer.
Yeah.
When I was 4 years old, a sloth broke into our house.
Not lighting.
I walked in. There was blood and urine everywhere. I was too late. My brother.
There he is, vicious.
He was lying naked on the ground. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. My mother looked into my eyes. My mother, she told me, William, you kill every last damn sloth. You get your hands on Mother. Mother, I will avenge you. Oh no.
Never let down your guard.
Oh no.
Sorry about that. Some bullshit just went down. Later, man. About that cat, I really need to know.
Mother! I'm sorry.
Thank you, Nubrass. I love my little brother's hand just flopping up in the bottom. That one always gets me. Whew. Okay, so Slow Boy Whiteboard asked if the scar was eyeliner. No, it's actually a scar right here. I had my whole eyebrow bitten off when I was a wee lad. I was probably 4 years old. My uncle had a Rottweiler. Every time this ends up being therapy sesh, guys. I've had a rough life. I've had a hard go of it. So when we get into anything, past 4 years ago, it's gonna be a therapy sesh. So you guys just gotta get used to the feels. Okay, it's rough. Yes, Skeptic, my eyebrow was bitten off, as well as part of my forehead. You see this scar going up, kind of goes like this. I'm mirrored, so it goes like that and up and then over like that. My uncle had a Rottweiler, and my mother had taken me over to my uncle's house, and I was with my cousin. He and I were hanging out in the kitchen, and he had the Rottweiler there, and I was 4 years old, and he was maybe 6. And my mom and my uncle are, which is my mom's brother, are in the living room, and I hear Wesley, hey, it's time to get ready to go. I look at my cousin, I look at the dog, I'm like, Seth, hold the dog still. I'm gonna give it a hug goodbye, because I'm a wee lad, and I'm affectionate, and that's why I gave him a hug. I wrapped my arms around the dog's neck, and then I woke up. The next thing I remember is laying flat on like a gurney thing, and I like seeing the the emergency lights above me going. So there's a picture of me, after I got out of the hospital. I've got the no eyebrow; it's all sutured up. My face is swollen. There's like bandages here, and I'm like, resilient little child. Nope, definitely not a eyeliner. But there is a sequel to The Sloth. I don't know if I have the heart to show you guys that one. I'm going to show you guys these in chronology of when they came out. And so let's go to the next one. How did I live? My mother told me that the doctor said if the dog had bit, a quarter inch lower, if like his jaw must have gotten here and gotten into the meat of my face. Keep knocking into the mic. I apologize. If he had bitten just a little bit lower, I would have lost my eye and gotten had to have a glass eye, but no damage to the eyes. All right, let's go to the next video. You guys have any questions? Were you able to follow the storyline of the sloth? Did you get all the story, the world building? I was a darn sloth hunter. There's a sloth, infection, much like The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was really in its heyday then, and I was like, what if it's The Walking Dead, but really really dumb? I think that was kind of what if it was like the zombies, but they're even slower? I think that was the idea. And I still get killed, even though I'm the expert sloth hunter. That was the idea. Like, that's the idea. We have a camera. I've got me, my little brother, and my friend. Let's just go film. And that's how all these videos came into existence. Let's go to the next one. This one's a good one. I will not cringe through this one, I don't think, because it's top tier, you guys. It's top tier old YouTube filmmaking here. All right, this one's called The Deal. Very atmospheric. That's my best friend. His name was Gregory.
I didn't expect you to come.
I'm not in this game anymore.
Everything changed in 95.
That's when I was born.
But we're not here to talk about that. We have to do one last deal.
I've been out of this game for years. It's gonna cost you triple.
I don't have triple. We take 2.5.
Sure.
Cool.
So dumb.
No.
Half up front, half later.
All right, but I want you to tell up front. Ugh. Good. It's not the off-brand.
We did our own sound effects too. That was my friend Gregory there going. That was us going. Some real camera work there, changing the focus. It's impressive for us because we didn't know what we were doing. Oh no, I started doing like outros. Got to cut it off. Oh gosh, not the cringe outros. So a couple of things there. The cut back from like my friend gets up and walks towards the girl. That was one full take where the camera started moving towards him. We were really interested in like long shots. We're watching movies all the time. Just be like, let's do that. I literally bought a camera on Amazon and I didn't look up how to use it, and I didn't know what ISO meant. I knew some terms. Like I was like, okay, pulling focus. This ring does the focus. Let's not do any of that cheap, autofocus stuff. We're gonna do this for real, y'all. And we didn't have like a cameraman. It was literally just like, oh, I'm not in this shot. I'll hold the camera. Very rarely would one of us actually be a dedicated camera. But we'd either be like, oh, hey, friendo that's just hanging out. We all wanted to be in the video. Here's the camera, and they have no idea what they're doing. No idea. None of us did. But that shot where he gets up and runs, and it cuts back to me, and I'm just like standing there, and like the music cuts out, and there's like animal sounds for no reason. The sole reason that part, it cut to that was because we did 2 of those takes, and I liked the beginning of the take that's shown, and I liked the second half of the next take. So I was like, let's just cut to something other footage, so I can get the 2 good halves of the good half of this take and the good half of that take. And then I don't know why I threw a cow and a chicken or something. It literally doesn't make any sense. It's not supposed to. I just wanted it to be something other than just me, because we didn't actually think about that. It wasn't meant to be cut to anything else. Why did I look like I was from Piky Blinders? Well, Piky Blinders didn't exist yet, so I think that they looked like me. This keeps going out. Dang it. I don't know why. But yeah. I mean, that was a good one, right? There was a build up. There's some twists along the way. It's really quick, but there's like there's an establishing shot. It's impressive for what I had at the time, Back then we didn't have as many tools. Good editing. Yeah. I mean, actually some of my favorite memories from these videos is it was just me and like the same, kind of rotating cast of my friends making these. And I lived with a couple of them, and we would just laugh so hard we would be in the editing room for like 2-3 days, and we would just like go over the same footage 1,000 times, tweaking it, making it a little bit better, trying to get the timing just right, inserting different royalty-free music to see which ones would work. We would record our own sound effects, and we were just trying to make each other laugh. And we probably made each other laugh more editing. And there were so many times we would like edit something hilarious, and we're like, that's too much. Let's take that out. But there's lots of fart sounds that definitely made it in, just because we were giggling like little fools. Definitely, that's what happened. All right, I think we can move on to the next one here. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Which one would it be? All right, this one's a little bit longer. You guys need to, we're gonna break through this short form media barrier, and we're gonna press through into some long form content here. All right, here we go.
My name's Jordan Tinker, and I didn't believe in ghosts until one caught me sleeping, and he said, and I was like, that's not cool. And I want to be sure that families and people everywhere across the country never have to experience the horror that I experienced that night. My partner Wesley is also here with me. He's pretty cool. And together, we will rid the country and the world of ghosts. For what's our name? I'm sorry. And these are our ghost misadventures.
So we received a call about 2 weeks ago about this house out in the mountains. It's just a man, lives by himself, saying he's been experiencing some paranormal ongoings throughout the house, mostly in the upper bedrooms. And
Something magical about the way my friend Tinker talks.
I thought you said he lived alone.
It's his cadence.
I didn't know there were kids. But regardless, we've been called to investigate, and the most logical thing, it's just the house is in disrepair, and it's completely debunkable and explainable.
Very
ongoings, but we're gonna do
debunkable.
our best to work with them and hope everything works out. I'm Jordan from Ghost Misadventures.
This place is haunted.
Yep.
I know it's short notice, but we responded as quick as we could, and we hope to have some experiences tonight. Maybe we can get down to what's causing the issue here.
We'll be back at dawn. Expect results.
Never come.
It's really weird. These kids are like chatted out. They go to the gym all the time now. They're like 19. Weird. I like that bit. He spits and it's just way more than you expect every time.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It'll be fine. It always is.
A lot of this
is
could be better
probably the
executed, but there's a lot of good ideas.
Spiritually
Man.
infested house I have seen. And I have seen many. I've seen 3 today.
You know, I'm just happy to be here. You know, get some new experiences.
Our mission here is to find the source of the spiritual activity. Most houses, it finds itself in the basement or the attic. I know it may sound cliche, but those are the hottest and coldest points of the house. Unless they have like a meat locker, and in that case, that would be the coldest. But I don't think that. Or if they had like a fire, like a big fire room, like a kennel, or some other place that's lots of fire, then that would be hot. But that's like physical hot. I'm talking about real spiritual hotness, just so hot that you're just like, ow. And then there's ghosts there too, and you're like, ah. That's why we're here.
I love that. Just the slow.
Yeah.
I saw this about 5,000 times,
Okay,
editing
this
it
place
over
looks
and
pretty
over.
big.
So I have it, even though I haven't seen this in
Good,
probably
good
6 years,
angles.
I have it
Every
encoded in my
corner
brain.
of every room. I want good visibility so we can get all angles of the house at all times. Get
This little.
What's this?
oh my God.
It's working with.
What is this?
This is my friend Gregory. Now he calls himself Calvin now. It's his middle name, or sorry, Gregor's his middle
They
name.
lied to us.
Calvin's his first name, but
That's fine.
he was
They're not
Greg
here.
during these years.
Nick,
And every time he's holding the camera, it's always doing this like insane motion the whole
I was
time.
out in the cornfield and I saw a tractor without a driver. And I just knew it might be a goat net or phantom. And what's even worse, I changed the driver one time and I had to kick that baby's dog.
I don't know half the words he just said. It's a solid bit.
You're
Solid
the
bit.
dumbest man on planet Earth. I ain't dumb.
It might overstay its welcome, but it's a good bit.
Wesley,
Yes, sir.
we need to maintain and secure every major room in this house. I want constant surveillance, and I want bodies in those rooms at all times. I'm talking major bedrooms.
Yes.
Another hot spot the owner mentioned was the basement.
Basement.
All right, are you ready for
I
this?
contributed a lot to that conversation.
Let's do it.
Okay.
That was Greg. He had to add the little fart sound there. Okay, there is something weird here. I will remind me, and I'll bring it back up. But I'm gonna let the video play.
Not it.
You're always not it. This is level 10 grade
Spookiness level.
Yes.
So dumb.
This is perfect. I can feel it. I can feel the energy.
Can you tell how this was all one take?
See everywhere.
Goosebumps.
Cameras, corners, now.
R.L. Stein has been here. What a dumb line. Because I said goosebumps.
So the basement here is the most heavily active in the house as far as paranormal activity.
Okay.
Old manuscripts said that an old man was bashed to death. in
Something
here.
about that line. Old manuscript said an old man.
It's up to you to be able to contact that spirit and make a connection. I know. That's why you're here.
To the lynda.com course.
I know. You're explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be
There it is.
upstairs with the equipment.
I took a
monitoring the
lynda.com course.
status. Anything goes wrong.
You know, it really dates this video. That was a very popular ad on all of YouTube. Lynda.com.
Hello? Why are you doing this?
I came prepared.
Did you guys get that? Oh my god.
Peak acting, yes. Better love story than Twilight. So dumb.
Wesley,
There's one thing here I wish so much that I edited in and make it so much better.
I got. Oh my god. You know what this means? I have to get him before he gets me. I'm coming for you, Wesley! Oh my god! Ah!
That right there needed bullets. It needed muzzle fire and sound. It'd be so much better. And then like dust from the ceiling of the debris. That would seal the deal so much more. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Probably because I didn't know how to do that yet. This was like my 4th video edit, like new to the program, new to editing.
Oh god. The door closed. Don't go out of it.
Oh my gosh. I maybe I should have showed this. It's like funny enough. I don't know why I had this bit where like, you're supposed to have like a call to action where you do something like, hey, likes, comment, subscribe, that's like what YouTubers are supposed to do. And I had this idea. I was like, I just kind of hate like the thoughtless, just, hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to my channel. Hit that like button, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm just a normal robot person who says the same thing every time. I hate that kind of stuff. Kind of, really, I do. I always did back in this day. A lot of my stuff was, I was scared a little bit, or like a little bit afraid that I'd be making fun of something. I'd be satirizing something and people would think I'm a part of it. But my call to action was this little bit where I would eat cereal and just have subscribe, and each time it just get weirder. So this is like the 2nd or 3rd one of those. Again, just a little snapshot into my room. This is after I've left my mom's house, and I'm living in an apartment with my friend, Gregory, Calvin Gregory. Anyways, yeah, it gets weird. I think at one point I'm like drinking blood, something like that. It gets weird. All right. Well, oh shoot, I already closed it out. I wanted to show you something there that is a little, actually a little spooky. I don't. It's a little unexplainable. It's something that I found when I was in the editing room, and I've never come up with an explanation for it. So sorry. Let me pull the video back up. All right, here we go. Yo, how you doing? 07 Scape, how you doing? I haven't hopped on since like 3 weeks ago. I need to hop on. We need to play together. I haven't explored Varlamore at all yet. Okay, I've got the video back up. So in this scene, there is a moment where there is, because this is a parody of like ghost adventures. I'm Matt with Ghost Adventures. I never believed in ghosts until I saw one, and now I do. That it's like that's this video, right? It's I probably don't need to explain that, but we actually in this have there's an audio bite in this part, and I found it while I was editing. It's like, what the heck is that? And it sounds like somebody whispering something, and so I'll play it and somebody can hear it.
Bashed to death in here with a brick. So it's up to you to be able to contact that spirit and make a connection.
I've been trained in this.
I know. That's why you're here.
Took a lenda.com course.
I know. You're explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be upset.
Right there. Did you hear it? I have no idea what it says. Like, it sounds like, it's always sounded like Jer-tis to me. Jer-tis. It's not words that I know. Maybe it's something else, but listen.
You to be able to contact that spirit and make it. Old man was bashed to death in here.
Where is it again?
Brick.
Sorry, I'll find it.
So it's up to you to be able to contact that spirit and make a connection.
I've been trained in this.
Okay, it's like
I know.
155.
That's why you're here.
Took a lenda.com course.
I know. You're explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be upstairs.
Right there. You hear that? You guys hear that? Am I crazy?
Explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be upstairs.
You hear whispering, right?
On course.
I know. You're explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be upstairs.
Anybody hear it? Can anybody help me figure out what's what the ghostly realm is trying to say to me?
On course.
I know. You're explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be upstairs.
You guys hear it, right? You heard something? You guys hear it, right? Yeah, I'm not kidding. Okay, so there's me right there in the video with my friend Tinker. Calvin Gregory is holding the camera. There is his two little brothers. One of them is like over to the left of me, I believe, and because he's gonna throw the can that hits that I look at it later, and because we're like, let's just film all this stuff down here since we're down here. And the other brother is in that little door that he has closed, and it has that sound.
And make a connection.
I've been trained in this.
That right
And
there.
was
So
bashed to
that's
death
all.
in here.
This door right here. He's in that door,
So,
and
it's
he's
up-
moving it, so it can be like a little spooky. So that's all the people. And Calvin Gregory said he didn't say that, and I had a DSLR camera with a shotgun mic, so him, holding the camera and saying something. I don't know. Let's play it one more time. You guys hear this, right?
No, that's why you're here.
Took a lynda.com course.
I know. You're explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be upstairs.
Jairtis. Here, I'll play it through instead of ending it one more time. I'll play it a couple more times, just so you guys hear it. You guys
I
hear
know.
this?
You're explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be upstairs with the equipment. This information. So I'm going to be explaining this to me. I know this information. So I'm going to be explaining this to me.
You guys hear it, right? Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. But yeah, can anybody help me out? What is that? What is that? Was everyone joking here, or were you pretending to be serious with this guy? What are you talking about? Am I joking with what? What do you think's going on here? What's going on here? I don't know what that's supposed to be. What is that supposed to be? I mean, that video was a parody of like those ghost adventure shows, and that was a little soundbite that our mic picked up. That this is us joking and making fun of those ghost hunting shows, but we actually did catch something like an audio bite that we're like, where did this come from? So that's weird. I don't know. I've never known. Tried to figure that out for a long time. Yeah, I'm scared. I'm spooked. I don't know what to tell y'all, but all right. Well, here we're gonna get into another video. Let's go to another video. Okay. All right, everybody. Okay, let's move along, folks. All right. Here's where I tried to up the production value a little bit, folks, and I hope it shows. I really wanted to elevate the art. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to I didn't want to follow the trends of YouTube. I really wanted to just be a filmmaker and tell some stories and make people laugh. That's always been what I've wanted. So I don't know if I've ever done anything of any value. So let's continue on, folks.
Hey?
I expected you to be here.
I expected to be here.
I expect that you understand. This means so much to me.
Yeah, I mean, the picture looked really cool, and I think it'll tie everything together really nicely.
You took pictures? This is personal.
Look, I didn't take the pictures. You did. No! No! Get out of my head!
You took the pictures? You killed my father!
Yes! I killed your father! I need to hear
We
you
had so
say
much
it.
fun with those
That's
guns.
the man I am. What? Shut up!
It's
I'll kill you.
I had two airsoft guns that we
You
put
haven't
black
even given me the
electrical tape on the
right.
yellow or
I
the
don't
orange
even
bit at the
know
end.
anymore. What do you mean?
This lingers a little too long. It should have cut after the.
Man, I'm
kids.
so sorry.
No, it was my fault. It was a
my
misunderstanding.
fault.
Like I didn't know what you were doing, and I was doing it, and it was like
You're a nice guy, man. Hey,
I appreciate
It's much
Enjoy the
darker
rug.
because
Hey, thank you. No,
we were
no,
actually
I really-
on
I
a
understand.
stranger's
No, it'll look
property, and we
great.
got
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
chewed
safe
off.
travels.
Yeah.
Safe
We had to
travels.
drive
Yeah.
away to somebody we knew's house, and
I
it's much
expected you
darker.
to come.
He taught me everything that I know. You took it away from me. I'll take everything away from you.
Look how much chunkier my face is, dude. Chunky boy. Chunky boy. Chunky boy. So, what's the universal Buddhality? Yesterday, I don't know if you caught the stream yesterday. I think you were there, but somebody at the very end named Tiffanal showed up and was like, I just want you all to know that I'm a Buddhist and you're a Buddhist too. We're all secretly Buddhists. And I think that Buddhism doesn't have any contradictions in Christianity. And if you look at the 5 points of Buddhism, you'll find that we're all actually Buddhists. And I love y'all. Have a good night. Bye. So I was going to see, I didn't know, I didn't want to show you all of my cringe videos. This is a selection of the cream. There's lots of them that would actually make me curl up inside and never come out. But these are the ones that are better. So anyways, yeah, we'll get into that. Have an open panel about the question of Buddhality, universal Buddhality. Is everyone just secretly a Buddhist and we don't know about it? That was going to open up after we had this chill, just hanging out, doing a watch along. But that was a good little video, right? It had some production value. I had a stabilizer for my camera, and that was the first video that used that. Didn't really have much motion shot, but so it was really, I could have just used a tripod. It was very excessive. I shouldn't. It was. Don't use the tool that's tougher to use when you could just use a tripod. Yeah, we could just move from the Buddhality question, and we could look at Amu Haji, and maybe that'll answer our question for us. Do you remember Jim Bob debating the Buddhist karma guy on TikTok? Maybe. I don't know. The TikTok invasions those are my least watched videos. They're really hard for me to get through. Just because the format of TikTok with like the moving up and down stream, it just automatically changes the audio over and over. It gives me a headache until he's like actually talking to somebody for a while. It's really annoying to me. Hard for me to listen to. But let's keep the train moving. I do have the if you guys want to watch along here with me and let your voice and your face be known, the link is there. But we will keep moving on, folks. Keep moving on. All right. This one is a fever dream. I hope y'all are ready. There's no going back from here, folks. This is the deep end. This is the bottom of the rabbit hole. And I'm sorry I brought you here, but here we are. My request, we're doing these videos.
Yeah.
It was just flour.
It's the good stuff. I mean, what are you going to do? Are you wasting that, man? Well, I mean, like, this is my brother's. He made it. It's a special recipe. My mom gave him that recipe.
For cocaine.
You disrespect me like that.
We just called Pepsi because we're doing Coke. It's a joke.
You don't disrespect me like that.
We love playing with the guns.
Oh, you want to play games?
Enough of
This
guns.
game. Yeah. That's what you got to get it. Spread. You're tenderizing. Tenderizing.
This is a local band thing. I got the permission to play the video. They're a Murfreesboro band in my hometown. I grew up in the subdivision called Blackman in a town called Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
fellas?
He's got the cocaine just in his hand like that.
Hey, man. Hey. Spread the... Oh, thank you. Breathe it more. Got it all over everywhere. I'll cough on you. To my eyes.
And those are actual, CO2 canisters. So I wanted to have the gun actually do it like
That's crazy. I've never seen
do
that
that
in my life.
motion.
But all right, it's
Production
okay.
value. I paid $100 each for those guns.
Hey, shut up! Shut up!
Stop it, man!
I'll kill you like I killed your father.
I need more mayonnaise! I'm running out of my mayonnaise!
Show a little love.
So dumb.
Thanks, man!
Still cocaine in his face. Sorry, the tape is a little corrupted.
I'm stopping it here! I'm stopping!
Shut up!
He had gotten home from work and was like, "Where are all y'all?"
I've been
And he came
hearing
down
you for
in
3 years.
the basement of our house, and we threw him in this. And we're like, "You're in the video now."
What are you gonna do?
Wait, we should really check out who that guy is, guys. He's got some kind of ID, right? You have an ID? I don't know who that
is.
Who are you?
I'm Benjamin Banana Peels!
one
Benjamin
take for
Menendez,
everything.
who?
No takes, no second takes,
Who are you?
no script.
Wait!
All improv. It shows a little bit. I was really fighting to have more scripts and more writing. I love that the gun getting stuck.
He got a direct line of sight to the exit! Shut my foot! Wow! He shot your foot! Oh God, did he shoot my foot? No! There seems to be no apparent
It's like a
answer.
Muppet.
Hey!
There
Can we
seems
strike
to
a
be
deal?
no apparent answer.
The mayonnaise! Let's get mayonnaise. Give me the mayonnaise! Well, if we go by the door, he's gonna kill us. We struck a deal! We struck a deal. You go get him the mayonnaise, and he will let us go.
I told you this video is a
Thank
fever
you for
dream.
being reasonable, Jeffrey. Thank you. I'm just really glad that we're going to get out of this situation all fine.
That's what you get! That's what you get!
I don't know why
I did not
mayonnaise.
foresee this.
He doesn't know why mayonnaise. We
Okay,
threw him in the
we have
video
a
and he
deal.
just
Still,
like,
we have a
okay,
deal, Benjamin.
you're our prisoner.
I know
Start
that.
screaming and yelling.
I'm the deal!
That was the cue.
We have a deal. I'll get you the mayonnaise. You
There
seem
was
like
no
a
plan.
trustworthy man against all odds. I will get you the mayonnaise.
The video idea was, what if we were all on cocaine?
Jeffrey Benjamin Deal. I'm gonna put the gun down out of a sign of respect. I respect you. Gonna get the mayonnaise.
I'm your prisoner!
Is this what your house looks like? My
That's what you
basement.
get! I'll kill all you! Get the mayonnaise for myself! I'm the old man!
I don't even know what he says there. I'm the dough man or something.
I can see Brennan right there.
No way. Oh God. You okay, dude?
One thing I'll point out, like how there's like this cinder block wall thing here, like this, he's like trapped in this cell. So I had friends in film school, and I was in a couple of their short films, and they knew I did stuff, and I was chunky. Well, thank you, Ras. I didn't go to the gym at this time, but now I do. So I hope there's can you see a difference? Can you see a difference? When did this video come out? How long ago this thing come out? 7 years ago. It's quite a difference. Anyways, there's this like little cell here thing. Look at this thing. What I mean, come on. Oh, look at this thing. Oh my gosh, the camera movement. It's so hard to deal with. It's only on the screen for like half a second. Let me get it. Whoop up! Oh, there. Oh, come on. There. Okay, it's sort of in focus there. I had friends in film school that were doing a short film about an Edgar Allan Poe short story. I can't think of the name of it, but it's like the guy has another guy, and they go into this like wine cellar, and he gets him drunk, and then he's like a stonemason, so he builds a wall like at the edge, like the end of a hallway, and he seals him into the wall, and that's how he kills him. And they were like, you have a basement, we need a set, we don't want to pay money, so can we just use your basement to do a concrete wall, and then we'll just make it, build enough of it so we can use camera angles to make it look like a real thing. Yeah, sure. They never tore it down, and then we just had it, and then I had to like haul all those to the dumpster. Well, that's about all I got to say about that one, folks. I think obviously it's got kind of this degraded VCR VHS kind of aesthetic, kind of going in and out. I had like 5 different layers of the video, and I just make one really red, one really blue, and I make them like go in and out like this. It took forever. All right. Which one's next? Okay, we got two more folks. And these ones are good. There's something I told you, these are the cream. If you want to go see the ones that didn't make the cut, you're welcome to. I don't know if it'll be worth your time. This is definitely the ones that are worth seeing, I think. Maybe there's a couple that are, a little chuckles, but These are definitely the top ones. Okay. Okay, folks, here we go. Let's do it. Let's play it.
I'm Ryan Shekels, and I'm a father of 3.
No, Dad, I'm your only son.
3. Which of your kids are biological and which are adopted or whatever?
I'm your only son, Dad. They're not your.
I will get the spray. No.
I like how last time I played this, I didn't even know that's me in the helmet.
I'm the only.
Dad, you want me to get the spray? I mean, no. See, with you. You gotta watch your language. You're Catholic.
He doesn't like the same
Problem.
You're Catholic.
They're Mary's sons, and she gave them to you.
That's no.
Mary left you.
Mary never. She was. I forgot how this whole Catholic thing works again. I gotta.
That's me
God,
in the
I
helmet.
had to drive over to.
not that Mary, Dad. Not
Father,
Mother
I
Mary.
gotta drive over to Father Austin's now.
That's me in the helmet.
Your mother. My mother. Yes, your mother.
I'm doing this the whole time.
And that's okay. She wasn't. We'll leave that. Anyway, what are the questions here again?
I was a skateboarder. I did a lot of skateboarding, but I didn't work out, and I had a terrible diet. So yeah, I was kind of chunky, admittedly.
They're all biological in here. You get that. You're the oldest. You set the example. Yes, you be the oldest. You lead.
I'm the only one on stream right now, so I have the unicorn plushie until somebody demands it of me. Jube.
One biological. All biological.
I love the bit that his he never lights a cigarette, but just keeps falling out of his mouth.
You know that.
I'm playing Ken. You guys don't realize that I'm playing Ken.
Now this one. Ken, what do you like?
This is like a TLC show, like a dysfunctional family.
I'm sorry for looking at you. You told me not to
Look
take
at me when I'm talking to you.
You just told me not to take off the helmet.
You're right. I did. You know why? Because you're a pro. See that? Turn to the side so they can see that. Turn to the side. I want them to see this.
My mom bought me that helmet because I was skateboarding a lot, and she's like, "You need a helmet, dear." And I wore it only for this video. I never wore it a single time when I was skateboarding.
I'm a pro.
He is a pro.
I'm a pro.
Don't forget it. He's got to lead when I'm gone. Moving on. When are we going to talk about Cameron? Why am I the last one, Dad? Why am I the f***ing last one?
Because you're the youngest.
You are the youngest.
I love that he's the youngest when there's ones that are half his size. It's the little things in these videos that like just break your mind a little
Last
bit.
time I got 20 Hail Marys. 20 Hail Marys.
Like the things we say, like obviously, but they're obviously not true. Those things get me.
Name is Mary.
That's not funny. Don't talk about my mom that way. Your mother was Mary, my first wife.
What's your mom's name? I remember Mary.
Because she's your mother. Of course you were. Okay, everyone. Wait, Tommy, do you want me to just like you're just filming like a documentary? So this is Lena's room. I don't know.
That was actually my room.
I'm not a hamster man.
Not a hamster man.
All over the room. He's very into karate. Give me a black hole someday.
We couldn't bother to turn on a dang light.
Your bathroom. Cut her off.
You can't keep the cigarette. It fell into his cup.
Hair. As you can see here, standard kitchen.
Standard kitchen.
Yeah.
Dad, you didn't go shopping.
So this is the third throughout these videos. We've seen me live in 3 different situations. This is
Doing very well.
I moved out of my mom's house into that apartment, and now we're out of the apartment and we're into a house that me and like 3 friends were living in. It has that basement. Expels demons.
I don't want to go to hell, Dad.
You're not.
There's lots of little tiny jokes. You have to, if you're paying attention to
You're not gonna die.
the subtitles, you have to even like go in like a freeze frame, you know, like 25% speed, just get some of them. It's only condiments. There's no food, Dad. Cameron, stay in the house.
Cameron. Why are all the clothes not on the drying rack? Why are you crying?
Just you gotta let him try.
Those are Cameron's glasses. No. Yes, those are. No. You made a mess of the couch on the floor. No. Yes, you did. I'm looking at it.
Cameron did that. These are his glasses. I found them. He was here. He left the mess in his glasses. He's outside. Cameron, come back.
Oh well, no, Brass. My father is a very, very obese man, so I never had a good example. But I never was obese. I was never obese. My dad is morbidly obese.
Probiotics.
I love you, Dad,
You know I can't do Rubik.
but you're very fat.
What are you doing? What are you?
I couldn't figure it out, Dad. Why'd you buy it?
I didn't buy it.
There's so much there. Literally every one of those things was a single frame. I have no idea. I haven't gone back and seen what those say since I did this video. I don't remember.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop!
No, it's not broken. I don't remember that.
The window was open.
Dad,
Everybody, quiet. Father speaking. This is a teaching moment. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! You're promoting dissension with your
Dad,
He told me he hates me. What were you saying?
I'm such a little twerp in this one.
Liam, you better watch it, Liam. I will.
You saw that?
I will send you back to your room.
Cameron!
Stop it. Liam, go to your room. Go to your room, Liam. Now, go. I will not. Do not make me raise my voice.
I don't like you, Dad.
Stop. I'm not your father.
He's not your father.
That's like the one win I have. He admitted he's not his actual father. We really imbibed these characters, you know.
Tell us the teaching.
Tell us the teaching.
I'm the example. Wear my helmet.
My dad, Ryan, he doesn't know me. I'm Catholic. He's Hindu. He only keeps going with this belief system because
What the heck is this camera work, dude?
He doesn't understand. Get out of here!
I'm going to my room. No, you told me this is my room, Dad.
Liam.
No, Dad. Get out of my room.
I've always wanted to be an altar boy. I want to be an altar boy. Get back on me, you bitch.
He wants to be an altar boy, but he has this problem with cussing. You see,
Well, you think you understand
he can't overcome his passions.
I don't
You're Hindu gods.
You're Hindu.
We are Catholic all the same.
You're in denial, Dad.
No, I'm not. I'm also Catholic. Give me one of these. Don't lie though.
You know I want to be
Don't
an
light
altar
it
boy.
though.
I can't be an altar boy if I'm sinning all the time with curse words.
With curse words. What am I doing?
Put that stick back. Put it back.
That's my stick.
You made a mess. I'm gonna clean it up.
Oh, I'm cleaning the mess.
Stick back, Liam.
I'm the one that for everything I
think about
do
that? You
that's
can drown him?
slightly good, I have to make it known so I can make my father proud.
I don't blame Mom for leaving you. I
Whoa.
don't blame Mom for leaving you, okay?
The mom, his second wife that's left him,
Mom said never
left
use
the
that
kids with
word.
him. It's not even, she left her kids behind.
You come back away from
It's
your
a very
brother right now.
complicated situation.
Can clean this mess up. Don't you touch it. Don't you touch it. Go to your room.
Blah!
Go back to your karate room. Practice. Clean your belts up. No. Do not use karate moves on me. I'm telling Master Austin.
Master Austin.
You better watch it.
Is the priest, the Catholic priest, also the karate teacher?
Master Jenkins.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Shut that door. Don't slam it.
Well, you see him disappear like that?
Hey, that's an obscene gesture. You stop that.
He's flipping me off, Dad.
Stop it. We don't have. I don't have the funds to make 2 trips to Father
He
Austin.
threw his glasses in.
I can't own it up to anything.
He's outside.
I know. Shutting the curtain. Shutting the curtain. I'm removing.
You see that? There's like a bunch of crumbs in the couch, dude. I definitely didn't clean it up.
No, I'm the oldest. I'm the
He's
example.
the oldest. You are the example, though. And you're the oldest. You're the example. Now clean up this mess. You don't want to teach your brothers to be messy.
I was like maybe 19 here, 18, 19. It's probably 19. I don't know. I don't remember when this came out. Maybe I was 20.
You paid me $30.
Go back to your room, Liam. That's not your room.
blankets.
Clean up blankets.
We're gonna be here a second.
Well, finally, I'm getting to it. Am I wearing like a scarf? What the heck is my outfit?
Dad says I can't. That's fine. Do whatever you want.
I look so sweaty, dude. Wearing that helmet inside really takes a lot out of you.
She left when I was 20. How old are you?
I'm also doing this the whole time, so I mean that makes it a little bit worse.
I tried to ask my dad once, and he just told me I was responsible.
Dad, how old am I? You're responsible, son.
I think I can become an altar boy. We'll schedule a meeting with. This guy's a fucking. What? No, don't keep that helmet on.
Sorry.
Put that.
For cussing. Get off.
It's okay. We're going to Father Austin tomorrow.
So much dysfunction.
Get your
Can't
fix.
handle it.
Violence is one of those that you can't do.
Violence is one of them you can't do.
You don't have to wear the helmet anymore.
There's lots of little good audio bites in this.
It's been 25 years. That's why I'm saying you don't have to wear it anymore.
I've been wearing the helmet for 25 years.
You sit down, Liam. Shut the fuck down, Liam! What did you say? Liam. What?
The realness just exploded out of me.
I know. Whoa. You love us?
His face.
No, you brought that for me. I know, and I'm grounding you from your scarf. Now go to your room.
You can have a helmet.
No, that is Cameron's helmet. That is Cameron's helmet. He has his.
Like I said, we really imbibed these characters, this world building. So all improv, zero preparation. It was just we have an idea about a dysfunctional TLC show. That's it, and then camera rolls. 2 hours goes by, and then we have a video. And then 50 hours of editing, we have a video.
5 years old. Cameron, if you want to be an altar boy, you better start acting nice to your brothers. Liam, I see you out of the corner of my eye.
Dad.
Yes.
Dad.
Yes.
How old was Mom in this picture?
Why do we have a picture of a dog in a dress?
She's so young.
Yes, that is my favorite picture of your mother. It's the last picture I have of your mother. When are you gonna get rid of that picture? You're not even with Mom anymore.
That's my mom.
Cameron. She was a weak woman for having you. Cameron.
What a burn! What a dang burn! This is the only static shot. It's like the well, it's not. It is moving a little bit. Somebody holding it. Why didn't we use the tripod? I had a tripod. This is the little bit of after the dust has settled, a little bit of breath of fresh air, and then it ends. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Oh. So memed really hard there at the end. That's cringy. Ugh. Well, what'd you guys think of that one? That one. Did it feel long to you guys? Did it feel long? Felt a little long to me. But it was never, it kept progressing. There was definitely progression. But it definitely feels long, which isn't a good feeling. All right, one more I want to show you guys. Pretty random. Yeah, there's yeah. Fever dream. Yeah. Yes. Agreed. Well, one more, and yeah, this one's definitely fever dream as well. All these videos really are just fever dream. They're like ideas that like made sense in my head, and then you put them on camera, and then people like watch them, and they don't see like the line of thought I have, and it's just a product. And that's happening a little bit with even with my the new shorts I'm doing with the atheists, if Christians argued like atheists, because I will hear something an atheist will say, and I'll write it down, and then I'll think about like if I was going to say that same kind of argument, how would I say it as a Christian? And then I'll take a video of that And then atheists will see it and they don't have the reference that I'm coming from of what an actual atheist said. And they're like, you're straw manning me. What? Because I'm not, putting in the reference, but I feel like a lot of people have been able to comment what the reference was. A lot of people can actually see where I'm drawing the inspiration from. But same thing with these. They definitely have some inspiration, but since they're just a little capsule of something and they're the style that they are, it's all just like shaky cam being held. We had a dang tripod. I don't know why we didn't do more actual, intentional shots. We're doing these videos the way we're doing them. People just kept wanting to like be insane and crazy. And then it just kind of, escalated and people. Yeah. Anyways, here we go. Next one. Last one.
No, you can't do this. You gotta do this, Johnny.
You gotta do this, Johnny. Definitely some chunk happening. Definitely some chunk. That is a wig on my head and a wig taped to my chest.
Travis, took you a long time. Sweating like a pig up here. In fact,
It was so unbelievably hot in their attic.
Your meetup spot. Why is the hottest place? This is hotter than Hades, Travis.
I was sweating through my clothes, dude.
Sorry,
Look
don't
at
cut
him.
it no more, Travis. Sorry, don't begin to cut it. You crippled your nephew, your own nephew, Travis.
I know. But man, it was an accident, okay?
You crippled my son.
Man, I'm still your brother, okay?
He's dripping with
were a
sweat.
brother
It's so hot up in this attic.
You were like a brother. Closer than a brother, maybe.
You are literally my biological brother. How many bullets can we take, dude?
Run from your past, Travis.
This is an expert filmmaking technique where you just cut away and make an eagle sound, and then that's you jumping out of the window.
Leave me be.
Leave me be.
Stop.
You can see the camera rig there as the shadow.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Totally out of focus, but the grass behind him is focused. It's great.
Damn, Trav. I could never stay mad at you.
That sound of somebody crying doesn't work. That should have been cut out.
I forgive you, brother. I forgive you. Come meet your nephew. Well, come meet your nephew. Come here. My boy. Your nephew. My son. Brother. An uncle and nephew. And let's hug. Let's hug. This is nice.
I actually had a Patreon and people were paying me money for this. That's wild, dude. Yeah. I was making, I don't know, like $30 a month for like maybe 4 months. Something stupid like that. Well, that's it, folks. That's it. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching my old videos. Somebody yesterday was like, are those worth watching? And now we've discovered that no, they in fact are not worth watching. So that's why we watched them. Well, if anybody'd like to hop on and help me decompress from all the fever dreams we just went through. We went through multiple fever dreams. I'm out of beer. and we can try to grapple with Buddhism. That is the second part of this stream here, is trying to grapple with the fact that we're all secretly Buddhists, and also Mao Haji. Maybe we're all secretly a Mao Haji as well. It could be. Skeptic, you want to hop on and help me? Help me? You wanna give me some help trying to unpack all this stuff? I can't get through this myself. I'll get lost. I mean, look at all the people commenting on my videos. They calling me schizophrenic. I mean, I'm out here by myself. It's like the wood. It's like I'm in the forest, and I can't figure out my way. I need a guide. You know. Muad'Dib. Let's look up this Amu Aji guy. What are you talking about here? All right, and just look up a video of him. All right, world's dirtiest man. Okay. All right. Here we go, y'all. World's dirtiest man. He can't be that dirty, right?
Meet 83-year-old Amal Haji, who hasn't bathed in over 60 years and is considered the dirtiest man in the world.
Oh, he's not wearing pants. Those are
He
his
lives
legs.
in a small village in the southern Iranian province of Fars.
That can't be good for
And
him.
according to the Tehran Times, he believes cleanliness brings on illness. He drinks over a gallon of water per day, eats rotten meat off dead animals, smokes animal feces and cigarettes, and when asked to eat clean food and drink fresh water, he becomes upset.
Water?
Haji knows that he is covered in a thick layer of dirt, but he really doesn't mind in the
Where
slightest.
is he? Where is
he
he
believes being covered in dirt means that he is guaranteed to stay healthy and live for a long time.
How?
Haji is almost the color of earth and manages to almost completely blend in with his surroundings.
Shots of him
In
laying
fact,
down,
it's easy
sitting
to
down.
mistake him for a rock statue if he sits very still. He used to live a normal life in his village with his family until he began to believe that keeping clean was ruining his health. That was when he made the serious decision to leave his family and his village, to embrace what he believed was the pursuit of living a healthier lifestyle. He now lives on the outskirts of town and sleeps in a hole in the ground.
Wait,
or
he
sometimes
died
in a
after taking a
dilapidated
bath? Was
shack
he correct?
A few locals built for him. He feasts daily on carrion, the rotting remains of animals that have been killed by cars or have died of natural causes. He smokes cigarettes given to him by passers-by, up to 5 at a time. When he runs out of cigarettes, he smokes dried animal feces from his pipe. However, there is no medical evidence to support
Okay.
Haji's belief that being
It's one thing to be like, okay, maybe something's wrong with like bathing or bathing too much. You go, how do you get from that to I'm going to smoke animal feces? That's a jump that I'm not willing to take. Even if you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't wash my hair every day. Maybe like every other day or the day after that, maybe every second day. I'm going to smoke animal feces. That's a jump. I'm not going to
being
follow
covered
him
in filth,
through that.
smoking animal feces, and living
What
inside
the
a
hell?
shallow hole in the ground can make a person healthier. While he might not believe in using water to clean his own body, he believes that drinking a lot of water every single day is the key to health. That's why he drinks up to 5 liters a day, albeit out of a large rusty oil can. When it comes to stuff like taking care of his beard or hair, Haji doesn't use clippers or scissors to get the job done. Instead, he prefers to use an open flame. He carefully burns his hair over the fire until it's reached the appropriate length. Haji doesn't seem to have a care in the world, nor does he seem to have much in the way of clothing, but he says he wears an old war helmet to keep his head warm during the winter. The last record of the
He looks
longest
way cleaner.
time
That's
going
gotta be
without
after the-
bathing
after they
belonged
bathe.
to a 66-year-old Indian man,
Wait, is this the same
Kailash
dude?
Singh, who had not bathed for over 38 years. I doubt too many people are going to try to break this record of 60 years. I think the longest I have gone without a shower was about 7 days. It was when one of the World of Warcraft expansions came out, and all I did was sleep, eat, and play for a week. I really miss those days, but
Why
not
would
the
you miss
facial
those
stuff.
days? Why would you miss those days? I don't I miss parts of my Halo 3 days on Xbox 360. That was like I had like 3-day binges, and like there's good memories and laughs with my friends on the on the Xbox Live, but I felt like crap. I looked like crap. I was crap. I was the physical embodiment of excrement, dude. But I could really pwn some noobs, get them headshots. He smokes animal feces. Okay. I just don't. It's like, do you have to have the whole package? Can't you just be like, I want the no showering, please? Do you have to do also like the very little clothes and the smoking animal feces? And why can't? Is it unhealthy to use clippers? Why do you have to burn your hair? These are the little jumps. I don't know how. I don't know how he makes those. It's got to be something else in his philosophy other than just showering is bad. Yeah, it needs to be dirty on the inside. That's probably it. Yeah, it's not the dirty on the outside that counts. It's the dirty on the inside. Well, is there like a video of him talking? He died. I want to hear him talk. When did he? That was like a year ago he died? Oh, dang.
ایشی بچه درست کرده اینا بچه هنوز بچه بازیش میکنه.
Is this guy a Buddhist?
چشم بزن بکش بگم چتر کنی گیرون بیاش گیرت میاد اینا بکش اینا بگیر بکش.
Is that Claude?
چی بود اینا تا بلوم نکنی.
What is that? Get away. Look up Diogenes barrel guy. All right, Jube, if I'm gonna look that up, you got to hop on the stream. I need somebody else to come up here and suffer. And we also got to solve this this Buddhist question. And I'm not saying we're gonna solve it today, but we got to make some headway on it. Yes, cynicism mixed with mental illness. All right, let's look at this Diogenes. All right. Diogenes. Barrel guy. You guys having a good day? It's nice and warm and sunny here. I'm not seeing, I mean, like, I see like the philosophy, publicly defecting philosopher. Is that you're talking about? The philosopher who urinated on people. Which thing do I watch here? I imagine that's, I mean, I don't know. I don't see anything about a barrel, but he definitely urinated on people is what I'm seeing. What's your philosophy? I urinate on people. Why? There is no why. Is this where, like, you know, like in like a lot of medieval or like Hellenic like modern retellings of those types of myths, like when like somebody's holding up you know, the end is nigh sign, they're like always in a barrel with shoulder straps. Is that where this comes from?
This is history myths and myth conceptions. And today's myth is Diogenes lived in a barrel. First of all, the famous
I was hoping that he would like wear the barrel, walking around
and
with it.
what we know about him from Lives of the Eminent Philosophers by Diogenes Laertius, well, we can't be sure how many of the anecdotes from this book are actually based on reality. Diogenes, in a way, became a myth himself. And now to the barrel, because this popular myth, or more precisely, a popular misunderstanding, is based on the anecdote from Diogenes Laertius. Diogenes lived in a pithos, at least for a while. Pithos is not really a barrel, but close. It is essentially a large
75%
jar made of clay. It was used as a storage container for more or less everything, mostly food, like grain, and obviously wine and olive oil. This is basically how you store things at home or in a warehouse. And that's what you use to transport goods. These containers usually had handles, so you could put the rope around
Lived in
and
a
lift
big
the
ol' urn?
pithos using some sort of a crane or tracks or some other device. Because, yeah, this thing could be quite heavy even when it was empty. And huge containers, when full, were essentially immovable. And like any storage container, pithos could be relatively small and could be quite large. Apparently, the large version was used by Diogenes, but we don't really know the size of the thing. What we can see on the romanticized paintings of Diogenes is probably not very accurate. Pithoi, that's the plural of pithos, were usually smaller. So it is hard to say if Diogenes was really living big in his tiny house. We know from another anecdote.
What were like his thoughts? Like, is this like an actual philosopher? Did he have like a philosophy of life or metaphysics or ethics or anything? Like, I don't know if I've heard that yet. Like, what the heck? And it cuts to like a Islam Mecca cube thing. What did you want me to look up, Jube? And yeah, Skeptic, your accent being too strong and not being able to talk are yeah, definitely two different things. You know, just because I have a thick Southern accent and it might be a little bit hard to hear through the thick Southern accent. Howdy, y'all. Howdy, y'all. It doesn't mean I can't speak English. Just because you can't understand me through my thick Southern accent doesn't mean I can't speak English. It's focusing too much on the barrel. It's a form of cynicism. So he's just like mad at the world, like he's the first hipster. So he lived in an urn, he lived in a barrel. Like okay, I'm gonna look up some of his quotes or something maybe. Do you write things? Do you write stuff? In a rich man's house, there's no place to spit but his face. What? That's an ought claim. That's an ought claim. That's an ought claim there. You ought spit in his face. To create self-reliance. So he was like an ancient Walt Ralph, what is his name? Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson, whatever his name is. He was the proto Emerson. Okay, what else did he say? The foundation of every state is the education of its youth. You know, I mean, that's it's definitely a big part of it. Stand a little less between me and the sun. Get out of my way. You can't get out in front of my barrel. Get off my lawn. He was like the first get off my lawn dude. He was basically just an American brought back from our time and dropped into antiquity. So this guy is the antiquity version of, what was the other guy's name? Haji? What was his name? Amu Haji. Where was that guy from? What country was that? He's Persian. Uncle Aji. Man. You said Iran? This says, yeah, is Iran and Persia the same thing? Is Iran Persia? The answer to your query is a bit complex, but I'll break it down for you. I wish we could just have like actual Google searches now instead of this AI thing telling me what to do. The term Persia is used to refer to empire and its people, known as Persians. Iran is officially recognized name of the modern country. Okay. Well, okay, I'm going to keep saying some of these quotes. I am not a philosopher. I am a cynic. Yeah. Is cynicism a philosophy? I fawn on those who fawn on me, and I curse those who curse me. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. If you had washed lettuces, you wouldn't have paid court to Dionysius. I don't know what that one means. It's a witty remark about the superficiality of social relationships and the importance of living simple and virtuously. If you had washed lettuces. When I look upon sailors, I hope. When I look upon seamen, men of science and of philosophers, man is the wisest of all beings. When I look upon priests and prophets, nothing is contemptible as man. Nothing is as contemptible as man. I am not a dog, but I am a philosopher. All right, bro. Like 4 quotes ago, you said, I am not a philosopher. Maybe, give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, people grow and they change their mind and they realize they were believing 2 contradictory things. But you did just say that you're not a philosopher. And now you're saying you are a philosopher. So which is it, man? Which is it? Can't be both. I'm sorry, but have you heard of the law of the excluded middle? You can't both be a philosopher and not a philosopher. You can't have a philosophy of no philosophy. You can have a no philosophy, but the philosophy of cynicism. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work like that. Well, those are a couple tangents we went down. I do have, I think maybe this is what that guy was telling me about. The 5 points Prison Island boy. Is this you, Ras? Hello?
Hello? Yo.
You're live. You're on the air. Is this Rast? Hello? Hello? Yeah, I got you. Okay, so let's go through what I guess are probably the points of Buddhism. I don't know what type of Buddhism he's talking about because there's several different types of Buddhism, right? All right, guys, help me out. Are we all secretly Buddhists? Am I Buddhist? Are you a Buddhist? If you looked under your chair, would you find a Buddhist? Okay, the 5 powers of Buddhism, whatever that means, is faith, effort, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. The 4 noble truths are the truth of suffering, the truth of the origin of suffering, the truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path to the cessation of suffering. The 8-fold path is right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. The 5 moral precepts are taking life, taking what is not given, sexual misconduct, false speech, and intoxication. The 3 jewels of Buddhism are Dharma, which is the teachings, the Buddha, and the Sangha, the community of practitioners. So is this what he's talking about? Which is he talking about the 5 powers? Can anybody help me out? Tiffanal, are you here? Are you watching? Would you like to come on and tell me how I am a Buddhist? I labeled this a Buddhist stream, so I was hoping to fish you in, but I don't know. Can anybody help me out? Are we Buddhists? Am I Buddhist? I can't tell you. I didn't think that I was Buddhist. I never woke up and thought, wow, I'd like to be a Buddhist. I've never thought that ever in my life. And then I have somebody coming up and publicly telling me that I am a Buddhist. It's very confusing to me. I'm not sure what to make of it. That's why I'm here doing research. This is scholarly research. I just read through basically all of the beliefs that Buddhists of all times everywhere have believed. And, you know, the thing is my suspicion is that it's like just vague enough to work. Like, oh yeah, if I say suffering and I say, you know, what am I reading here? Wisdom and enlightenment, that we can just all agree on these things. Oh yeah, we all value the truth of suffering, and we all can value that we should cease suffering when we can, and we should value faith and effort and mindfulness and concentration and wisdom. But just like Jay Dyer says, you know, these are all loaded terms. There's no neutral ground. You know, all these terms are theory laden. So what we mean by faith and what you mean by faith might not be the same thing. How are we using the word? You know, you can't commit the word concept fallacy and just assume that there's always one meaning every single time that we use it. Yeah, are we all? Do I believe in sola scriptura just because I read the Bible? Do I believe in sola fide because I have faith? That doesn't follow. Can anybody help me out? Am I missing something here? Because does the way a Buddhist say faith, is that the way that I as a Christian would say faith? I can tell you for certain that the way that an atheist uses the word faith and the way that I use the word faith are not the same. I've had plenty of atheists comment on my channel already saying, you have faith, that means you don't believe in reason. You have faith, that means that you believe in fairy tales. You have faith and I don't have faith. You have faith and that means that you're okay with shutting your mind off. In what part of Christianity is saying that faith is shutting your mind off? That faith is defined as the lack of understanding, at the lack of any of these things? How is that not an argument from incredulity? Meaning Christianity isn't the way I wish it would be, so therefore it's wrong. I'm going to change the definitions of their words to mean really dumb things, and that means they're dumb. It's like if I said evolution is Pokemon, and oh my gosh, you really believe that Pokemon exists? You think a Charmander is going to turn into a Charmeleon? Like, you fool. They're like, I don't believe that. That's just like a really simple childhood. That's like a childish way of understanding it. That's like an actual just piece of media. And I'm like, no, it's the word evolution, you fool. You're saying you don't believe in evolution, and you're arguing that it's not evolution. It's the same word, you fool. That's what I feel like is going on here with the Buddhism thing. Jube is joining in. Can you did anything I said, did any of that stream of consciousness make sense? Can you help me sort this out? Are you a Buddhist?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Good, good. I missed a portion of what you just said. So
of the spew, you missed a portion of the
Yeah.
spew. Well, I went through basically. I'll summarize for you know, and we got Ras here too, but let's just bring it up to here. So yesterday a guy named Tiffanal showed up and said, it was very brief. He said, I love Christianity. I love you guys. I think you're doing a lot of good work. I think you're all Buddhists, and I think everyone can be a Buddhist. Buddhists can be atheists. They can be Christians. They can be Muslims. Basically, Buddhism is like the overarching religious net that we can all agree to. It's really the underlining grid. It's kind of my interpretation of what he's saying. I hope he would join. I don't know if he sees the stream. He's welcome back anytime. Welcome to talk. But my initial thoughts is him saying that we're all secretly Buddhists is that because I looked up the 5 powers of Buddhism is what came up. I don't know if this is what he's referring to, but it says faith, effort, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. That just because we use similar words or the same words that he uses, that we're defining them the same and we're using them the same. Therefore, from his perspective, because we're using those words, which is the word concept fallacy, we must be Buddhists.
Yeah, I agree that with your critique there, that just because we use the same words, it doesn't mean the same concepts are being referred to. Also, I don't think that the 5 points actually match up to Christianity. Like, let's see. Number 1 is no killing, right?
Okay,
So
maybe I don't have the one that you're. I just looked up 5 points of Buddhism and a bunch of different things showed up, so I just read them all. I didn't see that. Go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, so number 1 is no killing, right? So there, in the Buddhist scheme, they're applying that to all life, right? So that means like try not to like
Step on a butterfly.
bugs. Yeah. And that's not
Can't drive
really
cars. You
something-
can't drive cars.
It's kind of an
you would-
impossible task, right?
I mean, that's like monks do that to some degree, especially like not every monk, but a lot of monks won't drive cars because they don't want to. I mean, the main reason typically is they don't want to accidentally commit manslaughter by running into somebody or something. I know monks personally. I've met monks that drive to Costco and pick up food for the monastery, but some monks will not drive
because of
So,
that
like,
very reason.
not because they don't want to run into bugs or hit birds, but because they especially don't, and they don't want to kill anything. Like even priests aren't allowed to own guns. They can shoot guns like at a range, but they can't go hunting and stuff like that. But my spiritual fathers told me that priests can go fishing. It's like the one like exception of things that a priest could kill, because a lot of the apostles were fishermen, so it's kind of a little exception. But most priests can't are not supposed to kill anything, even like spiders and stuff. They'll like there's been spiders or whatever in the altar area, and he'll even capture it and just like release it, because as the priest, that's just a standard. So this is where like I would say like there might be things in Buddhism that might line up or be similar, like might be little seeds of truth, but they're not going to be one-to-one by any means.
Yeah, totally. I'm just switching rooms right now, so just give me
no problem.
1 or 2 minutes.
Prison Island boy, do you have anything to say? Or are you just here hanging out?
Wrong one, bro.
Well, yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I didn't even hit a blunt yet, but I'm there with you spiritually. Spiritually, we're all one, man. I'll keep saying it. That my favorite Jonathan Pajot line, and I'm sorry, folks, it has a cuss word in it. Hide the children, leave the baby makers home. I'm gonna cuss here, but it's not me cussing. It's Jonathan Pajot. Please pass the blame to him. He said, "Okay, Mr. New Ager, we're all one. If you're all one with everything, you're all one with everything, then go eat your own shit." That's my favorite Jonathan Pajot line. It's quite good, I think. It's true.
Jonathan
if you're one with
Pajot
everything,
really said that? That sounds like something he would never say.
I'm like 90. I've heard him say that. I'm like 90% sure I heard him actually cuss then. He was like saying it, he like laughed really hard. But he also may have I'm like almost certain he said the S word. And I remember it vividly. But he could have said crap, but in my brain he said the S word.
That's savage.
Yeah. He can do it sometimes. I've seen him. I mean, he's a Canadian, so he can't. It's very hard for him to be any sort of mean. So what are the 5 points of I was going to say Calvinism. What are the 5 points of Buddhism?
the Buddhist tulip.
Yeah. It's you got to open up the tulip opens up.
Let's begin to pluck the Buddhist tulip, shall we?
Yes, please.
So the first one is no killing, like whatsoever, and then, and I'm sure a Buddhist is going to be like, I'm sure a Buddhist is going to be like, well, obviously we can't like really follow all this. There's different degrees of it, so that's why
it's just a standard we try to reach for.
That's why they have ascetics, right? They have the monastics so there is kind of like a mirroring between Christianity and Buddhist, in the sense that they have an ascetic order to try to like live these out to their truest extent. But anyway, okay, number 2, no theft, forgery, fraud. Right, so no stealing, essentially. We're on board with this so far. I mean, besides from the point 1 with like,
some hair splitting there.
Step on a bug, 3, no sexual misconduct, right? So
I mean, how do they define that? How do we know that that's the same standard as us?
Right, that's kind of a vague term, right? What does that even mean?
Like, is homosexuality involved? Is touching is like, because it wasn't Gandhi a pervert? Didn't Gandhi?
Yeah.
I remember seeing a Gandhi quote. I don't know if it's real, but I remember saying like there was a picture of him taken with a bunch of children. He said that it was like like an aesthetic struggle because he was around so many kids. It was like a temptation to him. He very strongly implied that he wanted to commit misconduct.
Yeah, like I mean, how do they define it? Are coon pods okay? Because you're not really doing anything with anyone, you know?
Can I have Neuralink stimulate all sorts of degeneracy and sexual pleasure within my brain if it's not actually happening? Could I have a VR helmet on and kill everything and everyone and commit total genocide, but it's not real? That's not real killing? Would a Buddhist be okay with virtual killing? With even if, like, let's say I believed it was real and then I took, like, it was a dream and I woke up and I took the headset off and it was fake. So, you know, that wouldn't really happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then you also brought up earlier about the PEDO temptations of
the PDF files.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like, and I was reading the Wikipedia. It didn't seem like it was going into great detail about what this really means with the sexual misconduct. So that maybe that other guy, that Tiff, you know, whatever his name was, Tiffanal, could be here and help enlighten us to what
I'd
that
like to be
really
enlightened.
means.
Ras is gonna leave us because Jay's live. Dude, every day somebody's live at some point. I work and I come home and somebody's live. So I gotta if I'm gonna do this, I gotta be live some point. So peace out, Ras. Thanks for being
See you,
a
Ras.
good mod, huh? You know, I'm keeping tally, you know. Oh yeah, there he's gone.
I see how it is. I see how it is.
Yeah. It's okay.
Okay. So the next one, number 4, is no harsh speech, or no lies, harsh speech, or spoken misconduct.
Still vague, very vague.
What, can you not be commanding? You know, like,
Yeah,
is that prohibited?
if I have a dog that won't move or like cattle that won't move, can I be like, go, get? You know, like, is that too much? Is that being harsh to the animal? Am I supposed to respect the animal's feelings?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
if my daughter wants ice cream and it's 2 in the afternoon and this is like the 4th day she's had ice cream, you know, I'm a bad father. Let's just be honest. And I'm like, I got to turn this thing around. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, you can't have ice cream. And she freaks out. Is that harsh words? To her, that felt like harsh words.
And then the 5th one you've violated already at the beginning of the stream. Can you guess what it is?
Vanity. Looking at videos of myself, I was vain for doing such.
No, it involved.
Smoking, drinking,
yes.
smoking.
Yes. No, drugs whatsoever.
No drugs. Is sugar a drug? Is caffeine a drug? Can we just get some
point? I mean, technically it is.
Yes, caffeine is psychoactive.
So they can't have sugar?
Yeah, sugar is highly addictive. Well, it's like one of these things, like we could agree to a certain point, but again, it's vague enough to work. We'd have totally different worldviews. I can't just be like, I have this Buddhist worldview that is kind of a net that holds or it's the pedestal I put my Christianity on. It seems like Tiffanal, if you're listening, and maybe if you're listening back to this because you saw the clickbaity, I labeled the video this, so I'd hope to wrangle him back in. I'm still confused about the name too. Tiffanal. I was expecting to be like a lady named Tiffany, but
that's
it
not
was
a very that just doesn't sound like a Buddhist name either. You'd think they'd be more modest,
that's misconduct potentially, unless you define it as not being misconduct. Like, who is the person's name was Tiffanal. Tiffanal.
That's some harsh speech right there, and that's violating number 3 with sexual misconduct.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's how I perceive it, you know.
My guess is this Tiffanal was probably a Westerner who would, in time, grow to love and appreciate and venerate Saint Seraphim Rose, who is the patron saint of lost Westerners.
Yes, he really is. Any of these Eastern philosophy obsessed people should definitely read him, and because Father Sarah from Rose, he went through he went through the ringer of
Yeah.
all that stuff, and then he took the insights that he learned, and sort of corrected it through the Eastern Orthodox perspective. So it's like I still need to read some more of his books. I've only read Nihilism.
Oh, you've only read nine. You haven't read I haven't read everything. I'm like 50 pages into Genesis and Early Man, which is came out 18 years after he died. It's a book collection of a bunch of his writings by one of his spiritual sons. But,
yeah,
yeah.
that one too. I need to read that. It's just that it was I'm fortunate enough to have it in our parish library.
Mm.
So I can
Yeah, because it's
just
like 400, 500 bucks if you try to get an edition of it. But you can find it online on archive.com for free. That's how I'm reading it.
But yeah,
Prodigy, what books are you reading? Write them in the chat. Sorry, go on.
He's such a good introduction to Orthodoxy too. The Nihilism book was when I finished that book, I was like, I want whatever this guy has, like his worldview, you know.
That's definitely how it feels.
And that was right around the time I was taking the ortho pill.
Well, it's crazy too, like how he, especially if you've been a seeker of truth and you've groped around in the darkness of heterodoxy or Eastern spirituality. I mean, I grew up Southern Baptist, non-denominational, and then I kind of bore all in my previous streams talking about the experience I had with my mother with a rumor going around in my church that I was a homosexual, and having this experience with my mother breaking down in front of me and I couldn't convince her that I wasn't gay did something to me where it's like the part of my will like if I have any spiritual gift of discernment is like it's like I relinquished that in that moment, and I started just looking at life through much more of a liberal lens, you could say. And I started looking at things much more through like emotional arguments, because before that I was very like hyper rational, like much more like kind of like how Calvinists, or like the 5 points of Calvinists. I was never Calvinist. I was like very anti-Calvinist, but everything was neat and orderly, and I had all of my arguments against atheism and against Calvinism, against everything in line. I could just rehearse. I rehearsed all of my logical trees. I could have all my argumentations, and having that experience was like something flipped. I locked that part of my brain and my spirit into a box and threw away the key and was like, I don't know if anything I know is real. And then I started deconstructing everything. And that eventually led me to orthodoxy, which, glory to God. I'm glad I'm not stuck in my heterodox upbringing. There's things about it that I would knock, and that I think like served me. It kept me from a lot of degeneracy. Not that I wasn't degenerate in a lot of ways, but there was a lot of struggle. I had legitimate struggles, as a teenager, as a high schooler, being like seeing things my friends are doing, being offered things that I could partake in that was easily accessible. And a lot of it I resisted because I had that Protestant upbringing. So it did serve me to keep my noose from being as degenerate and dark as it could have been.
I feel the same way. I was brought up Protestant, evangelical, and I don't really I don't want to like badmouth it, like because, well, even though I don't agree with it anymore, obviously, because I'm Orthodox, but it did serve its purpose. It did protect me from a lot of bad influences that now I look back retrospectively and I'm grateful for that. I didn't I didn't go to public school. I was homeschooled. I was like very sheltered, and so looking back now, I'm actually happy I went through that, because I'm not as prone to the sort of propaganda that a lot of other people have had to deconstruct in their worldview. So like, and also the evangelical upbringing. And I think you mentioned this in another stream, or maybe in our DMs. A kind of loose form of Protestantism was making Orthodoxy much easier to break into than say somebody like
that was in our DMs. I definitely think that if like somebody is super into let's just say Calvinism, it could be other things too, but like they're into it and they have read Calvin, they've read the Institutes, they've gone back and they've like looked at the historical argumentations, and they are super like held tight on it. That can actually be more of a hindrance to somebody looking into orthodoxy, taking its claims seriously, really grappling with it, because they're so certain, and they're so certain they have the truth already that they're not really seeking the truth and not really looking at the criticisms and the arguments against their own worldview. Where somebody's just kind of, like more nominal, they go to church, maybe they're truth seeking, maybe they're not, but they come across orthodoxy and they don't have the same baggage, the same things that they're holding on to that they have to learn to let go and look at more rationally. Because I mean, like a Calvinist, like I've said this before, that let's just say there's Roman Catholicism, Protestantism, atheism, and let's just say they're in a triangle, and they're basically rock, paper, scissors. Like the Roman Catholics have great arguments against the Protestants have really good arguments against the atheists, and atheists against Roman Catholics. It's just like they all can have good arguments against the other people, but none of them have good positive arguments. And just because they go, well, I have all of the arguments against these other groups, I must be right. But then when orthodoxy says, hey, you're not historical, you're not any of these things, you don't hold the true faith, you have a little aspects of it, little seeds of truth. And I would say, like I've said this before, that like the fact that you and I had positive things from our upbringing in Protestantism, in heterodoxy, that it protected us from some things, that we had some things right, like that you probably believed in the Trinity, the deity of Christ, all these different things. That speaks to the veracity of orthodoxy, because even 1,000 years adrift away from the truth of Christianity, it's still held on to these orthodox things. And that to me speaks to the, like I said, the veracity, the potency of the true faith, that somebody who's 1,000 years removed from it can still hold all these things from it. I mean, obviously it's more and more degenerate and getting accelerated faster, like all these, especially in Protestantism. You can just look at the insane degeneration of it. They're losing more and more of that orthodoxy that Protestantism can claim to hold.
What you said just reminded me that so there are some beautiful things in Protestantism that have been beneficial to, say, both of our upbringings. But just because Protestantism has those jewels, which we would say stems ultimately from the Orthodox faith, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have the same reasons for them. So
right.
And that reminds me of the Buddhist. Like, what if all these Buddhist tenets, precepts are really just ripped off from that, that Orthodox or primordial quote Orthodox faith? And so like, even if we grant that, yeah, at surface level, the 5 tenets are compatible with Christianity at a surface
if we don't
level.
unpack it at all, if we don't define terms, then yeah, I guess we could agree on it.
Yeah, at surface level. But if I were to ask the Buddhist, why? What are the reasons you came to those conclusions? I guarantee you that they're going to be different reasons than the Orthodox reasons.
Right.
So that's another thing, is like, even if we grant the 5 Buddhist tulip principles, doesn't mean that we have the same reasons.
Right. And that's why he was trying to say, like, you could be a Buddhist Christian, and like, to me, that's just putting the cart before the horse. Like, there could be things, like I said, if we don't define it the way that the Buddhist is defining it, we could say if we have to say yes or no, I could say yes, I believe we shouldn't have sexual conduct. But if we're actually able to have a conversation, then we can see how there could be differences. And that's when I don't agree that Buddhism is the bedrock and Christianity is like the DLC pack on top of Buddhism. That doesn't make any sense to me from a Christian perspective. But he's looking at it from a Buddhist perspective and then looking at other religions. And he was like, I think you guys are doing a lot of good work. I would never speak against you guys, and I wish you the best. It's like, oh yeah, man, I don't wish any ill towards you, but I just don't agree, and I'd like to hear your perspective, because I hope that you aren't holding this so tight that you're not able to seek truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure that he's probably committing some word concept fallacy. Oh, we both believe in no killing.
Yeah. Can't we just agree? If it's like, well, I have different justification than you have. We have different reasons and even different definitions of what life is and what the human dignity is, different sources of why we believe that. So it's just because you and I agree 2 + 2 equals 2. If I think 2 plus 2, oh sorry, 2 plus 2 equals 2, I'm a retard. If just because 2 plus 2 equals 4, and that's my belief, and you believe that 2 plus 2 equals 4, if I believe it's because it makes mathematical sense, it's logical, you add 2 and another 2, and that's 4, and you go, well, I believe 2 plus 2 equals 4 because if I do, then Bitcoin will go up. So I prefer to believe in 2 plus 2 because I want the cryptocurrency that I have invested in to go up. And that is the only reason I believe that equals 4. It's like, well, there's something going on, even though we can say that we believe the same thing.
Right. We didn't reach the conclusion the same way. So
Right.
it's definitely not the same belief, really.
Any other closing thoughts on that? I mean, we can keep going. Skeptic says he needs some help with a video. I have no idea what he's talking about. Some Orthodox meme squad. He wants us to watch like 4 minutes of it.
I could add one more thing about the whole 5 tenets thing. So if we unpack the 5 tenets, we deconstruct it further, we're going to run into the Buddhist karmic system.
Yeah, Dharma and all that.
Right. And so that's not something that's compatible with.
I mean, I've had
orthodoxy.
a couple friends that are Buddhists or Buddhist light or whatever you want to say it. White people who want to feel special, whatever you want to say, but like they believed in Dharma, and they would always say that I'm God, you are God, we're all God, and I don't see how that can be compatible. If that's Buddhism, how can that be compatible with Christianity, which says we're made in the image of God? And that's like, I was really, like I said, I deconstructed all of my Christianity stuff, and I would say I'm a Christian. I never would have said I'm not a Christian, but I just started looking at other faiths and other traditions and other stuff, and I was just like trying to see what's going on. Like they've got to have something too, or else they wouldn't have believed it for thousands of years. And I wasn't really thinking logical. I wasn't able to think the way I'm speaking right now. 7 years ago, whenever. Around the time that all these videos we watched, that's like I was going through my deconstruction since then. Like that one video of the pickles. I was living in the house where my mom ended up having that time where she was like, "Why are you a homosexual? I'm a terrible mother. I failed you." The worst thing she said, and this I've talked about, this is a therapy session. I'm apologizing, but my little brother believes he is a troons, and part of that I've explained is because of the trauma my family went through with my brother becoming sick. But another part is just like I'll just say what my mother said to me. So my little brother's name is Joshua Allen. My uncle, my dad was a twin, which I didn't even know until I was a teenager that my dad was a twin. His brother became a homosexual in college because my dad and his family had a dad who was very physically abusive, very emotionally manipulative, and treated my dad's twin like crap his whole life, and was a very sensitive soul, very artistic, was a sculptor, and he ended up killing himself in college. He was a homosexual, I believe, because of all of the abuse, and he's just trying to cope and trying to find himself or whatever. And my dad named my little brother Alan, which is my uncle who killed himself's name, in honor of my uncle, in honor of my dad's brother. And my mom, when she thought I was a homosexual because of this rumor, was saying I should have never let that man name my son after that FAG. And that was one of the things I heard that was like made me go like, okay, if you and I are both Christians and we believe the same thing, I would never say that. Like I wish I could met my uncle. Like I didn't even know he existed until I was 15. Like something's going on here. And that's how I got led into this path of sort of becoming a seeker, but I was really just a wanderer. And I definitely looked into some Eastern spirituality. I read a few books. I read the Bhagavad Gita. I never like super dived headlong into like any kind of weird rituals, but I definitely was open way to a fault, way too open. I had a friend that would say he was a Buddhist, believed in Dharma. Like I said, he would say, we are all one. I'm one. You're one. We're all God. We're all just God experiencing itself. We're the universe. And definitely on another note, nub up. I agree. And I would try to like rationalize and connect our views, even though there was differences. And I'd be like, okay, he says that we're all God. and I believe we're made in the image of the God, and like, you know, we're all God's children. So in that way, yes, he's correct. I would do the word concept fallacy of, I would like, I'd bridge the gap between what he's saying, which is monism, and what I believed, which is Trinitarian Christianity in some form, and be like, you know, I could see how that makes sense if I define things this way. And that's how I was just lost in sophistry when I was 22.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that too. I'll add on to the therapy sesh a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting it out. We're getting it out. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, like I said, I've had a rough living as a black man in the South, and you know, if we get into my past, it's always going to come up to something. I mean, I always have to say, you know, this is my story, and it's not a happy story. You really want to get into this? I mean, we can, but God, I don't have enough tissues for you because you can't handle it. But go on.
I'll just add that. So I've had an unfortunate childhood, as in some regards as well, and a lot of that spawned the question of the problem of evil. How do I reconcile these evils, right? So that's what actually led me into Eastern, a little bit of Eastern spirituality and kind of Gnostic understanding, is because it challenges the very notion of what like God is. And well, what if, you know, I feel bad even saying this because it's borderline blasphemous, but what if God is evil? You know,
Right.
Those were the
I mean, if
thoughts
you're a
that crossed my
Calvinist,
mind.
that's kind of what you believe. I mean, from my perspective. But
What if it was designed this way? You know,
right.
The privations and the parasitic relations we see in nature. What if that was the way it was programmed from the get-go? And that resolves the question of why is there evil in the world, or why do these things happen? So I was entertaining these thoughts, and that's so the kind of Gnostic or Far Eastern kind of quasi or the alternative religion. I think that's appealing to people with trauma that have had evils, because well, what if it's just sort of baked into the system? Or
what if it's not my fault? What if it's not these people who hurt me that I love's fault? You know, what if it's just, you know, what if it's all determined? What if?
Yeah. What if? So that was one of the motivations I had in seeking, becoming a truth seeker. You know, becoming part of the what's the crowd? The kind of like Gnostic,
the truthers,
truth seeker, the truther crowd, right? That's rampant in there. Is when you when you deconstruct your system, when your system gets deconstructed, it leaves a giant hole that has to be filled with something. So a lot of these people replace it with esoteric kind of Gnostic ideas, because, well, the truth is not whatever the system's telling me, and they might be right to some extent, but they fill it with like this kind of like esoteric seeker kind of Gnostic stuff, and then that becomes a new type of poison, right, for their soul, and it leads them into maybe even further delusion, especially if they get really into it.
As soon as you are willing to accept, basically, if you're willing to deny the law of the excluded middle, you're willing to accept things that are actually mutually exclusive, that are actually contradictory, and not just paradoxical or seemingly paradoxical, like the one and the many being solved in the Trinity. You know, God is one, but he's three persons. Like somebody could be like 1 + 1 + 1. That seems contradictory, but it's not contradictory. It's just paradoxical from a certain perspective. But if you're willing to accept things that are totally mutually exclusive, they cannot be true at the same time, then you can believe basically anything, and you can be taught anything. Do you want to say anything, Logan? Okay, go on.
It doesn't make sense given your framework, which is a collection of when you're the seeker, kind of like truther, the autonomous epistemology framework. It's just like a patchwork of like whatever you like. There's really no real coherency to it.
That resonates with me. People use those kind of, you know, fluffy, feely terms. You know, that I really feel that really got to me. You know, like
that gave me a burning in my bosom.
Yeah, that burned my bosom real good. I got real toasty there.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of what I was gonna say. Is I think a lot of people nowadays don't really realize that the systems they're being taught is basically a long tradition of autonomous epistemology. And so that's why a lot of them, like, they have to look for all these things and they end up becoming basically modern Gnostics or pseudo-Gnostics, kind of ideologically or, well, theologically scavenging and like picking up all this stuff and becoming borderline universalist a lot of the time. I know, at least in my experience, I got pretty close to that for a short time in my life, where it was like, oh, you know, there's some truth in this, there's beauty in this, what's this about, and maybe this works in the system, maybe it doesn't. But eventually, especially as you look into the church and you come into it with that clear conscience and contrite heart, you really have to just realize all of this is nonsense.
Well, that's what I'll say. Like, most religions, the reason that people can believe them and they can be fooled by them or whatever you want to say is that they have some aspects of truth or some things that are true if you look at them from a specific way, but they're just vague enough to work. Like, oh yeah, I don't think that we should steal. I don't think that we should kill. And but it's like, it's vague enough where you can ascribe your own meaning. That's how Jordan Peterson has made his living, is that he says stuff where you can just look at it however you want and define it the way that you want, and then it'll make true for how you're looking at it. And there are truths and there are real things and things that would be orthodox even in other religions, but that doesn't mean that that religion itself is true and that system is true. It's just that these people are actually, if the genuine ones within them, I mean, let's just give them credit that maybe most of them are genuinely seeking truth. And if they're genuinely seeking truth, they're going to find some truth. And my friend that goes to my parish, he converted from Hinduism. He was a Shiva worshiper, which he goes, yeah, I literally worshiped the devil. I believe that Shiva is actually Satan. And anyone that worships Shiva is a Satan worshiper, legitimately just straight up worships Satan. And now he's Orthodox. He's been Orthodox for years. And he talks about that the asceticism he saw in Hinduism is very similar to like hesychasm. And he believes that they have all these, you know, like they really fast from food and they really fast from sexual immorality. And they try to clear their thoughts. They have all these meditative techniques. And he says they actually really are without God, even influenced by demons. In some way, they are doing this actual aesthetic work that is cleaning the noose in some way, because they're not being damaged by the sexual immorality or these different appetites. They are quenching their passions to some degree, but since they're doing without God, the way he describes it is it's like Moses sees the burning bush and he like sees this like enveloping darkness, and Moses sees that and he's able to go in and he sees the burning bush and he sees God and he meets God within the darkness of the divine. And the Hindus that he experienced, my friend, they cleanse their noose to the point where they can see the darkness. That's like the divine light, like from outside the divine light, it looks like darkness. And within it, you see the uncreated light and you're able to be enlightened. And they get to the edge of that, but they're not able to enter in like Moses can. That's his perspective.
That's interesting. I've never heard that. I mean, it might be a bit of a non sequitur, but do you think that might be related to their doctrine of reality is endless illusion?
Well, he says that my friend is a really big critic of Jay Dyer and Kotel. He's like, yeah, Kotel may have been like esoteric and like in Hinduism, but he didn't really understand it, and none of them have good critiques. Because this is my friend. I'm going to try to steel man his argument. I don't necessarily understand his argument fully, but he was a Hindu for years, like a decade before he converted to Orthodoxy. And he converted to Orthodoxy because he read The Way of the Pilgrim. That was his main thing that led him into it. But he says that Jay Dyer and Kotel's Church of the Eternal Logos don't have a correct understanding of the concept of Maya or the Hindu conception of illusion, because he says they don't believe that they themselves are part of the illusion. And I could be wrong, but this is what he says, that I'm not part of the illusion, but it's like if I'm walking in a garden and I look and I see a snake and I feel this like aversion, like there's a snake, and then I look and it's just a broom that fell over, and through this casting of the light it looked like a snake. That's the illusion. I'm aware of the illusion. I can rationalize and see what the illusion is, and I can see the illusion for what it's for. But he says that Jay Dyer and David, Patrick, Harry look at that and they just go, well, if you're part of the illusion, then how could you know anything? And that eliminates the possibility of knowledge. My friend says, yes, if they were part of the illusion, then that would be an argument. But since you don't understand it and they're not saying that they're part of the illusion, then that's not actually an argument. That's a argument for incredulity. That's my friend's critique.
Interesting.
Do you guys have any response? I've been talking. You guys can.
I know Apo is very is well versed on monism. So what do you think, Apo?
Yeah.
Well, I think that critique that Jay Dyer gave, if that is true, that the religion does not actually teach what he's purporting that it teaches about what is illusionary and stuff like that. If that is the case, then you could go the route of where monism itself leads to where debate is impossible. So, which is what they follow. They follow a form of monism or substance monism, where it's kind of like, I forgot exactly what they thought everything was. But anyway, if there's no real distinctions between the substances, the way you could go arguing against this as well, if my schema is your schema, then we can't get to justification. We can't justify each other's own arguments. And since me and you have a different proposition, me saying that, well, not everything is one thing and there's real distinctions between things, and you saying that everything is one thing and there is no real distinctions between things, those propositions alone already refute your own point that everything is one thing, because there would have to be a real distinction between what I'm saying and what you're saying. If there's not, then we're both saying the same thing.
Right. If we're all one, dude. Eat your own poop.
Yeah.
If you're one with
Yeah.
your poop, you should eat it because
We're
you want to
one.
be one with it, don't you?
It sounds like what you're saying, Apo, is that the ability to make distinctions is what makes language and meaning possible.
Yes.
So if we can't distinguish and predicate, then we can't really make sentences. And if we can't make sentences, then I guess you can't really write books, can you, Mr. Monist? You know.
And that was my understanding that Hinduism taught, through with Maya being an illusion and the Brahman, and what's the other aspect of it? There's our part of it's like the drop that goes back into the Brahman. I can't remember the other word, but to me, like if my soul is just an illusion that will be brought back to the one, the monad, then I don't see how my friend's criticism of the orthodox criticism of Hinduism doesn't hold, but he says it doesn't. And I guess I'm not educated enough. The most I've read about Hinduism is the Bhagavad Gita, like I said, and I've heard people talk about it.
Have you tried going into the transcendental categories with your friend? Like, if
Oh yeah.
he's
Oh,
saying-
my friend is like one of the most well-read people I've ever met. He has a library the size of Jay Dyer's. He's very well-read, very knowledgeable, extremely versed in philosophy. And he's just kind of, my perspective, he's just a little burned out on it. And now he doesn't think anybody needs justification for anything. He believes in Heidegger, who says epistemology is just a failed project, and all that kind of stuff. He says, Heidegger says that, being is homonym. There's many modes of being. There's many different modes of being. So that's what he's all about lately.
Well, you know what? He's actually right when it comes to autonomous epistemology. It is a failed project, but he's still stuck in that framework. He's still trying to piece it together with his own buffet style, patchwork of cherry picking beliefs.
Right.
So does your friend believe that the transcendental categories are illusory, or are they real?
I've asked him about this because he's the one that says that if we can't do, Roman Catholic style natural theology because it's a fallen world and we'll come to fallen conclusions, we'll come to skewed conclusions, and how does that not apply to the transcendental categories? Wouldn't they be in a fallen state and we'd come to fallen conclusions and skewed conclusions as well? So I asked him, okay, well, we went over this the other stream, but if I can say humans didn't die and now they die, humans didn't sin and now they sin, the transcendental categories were in this state what state are they in now? Like, what can you point to that's concrete, like this, then this about the fallen state of cat? Like, you're positing like, okay, let's grant that there are some fallen state to the transcendental categories. What is that? And I haven't gotten a response to him. I haven't challenged him in a couple of weeks about it again, but
because there's no doubt that we can. So we have to admit that there was a cosmic effect to the fall, right? There's no getting around that as a Christian. It's part of our Genesis fall, right? And even Paul says in Romans 8 that the cosmos groan to be restored. So now the question becomes, well, what's the scope of the fall? Did it affect everything within the cosmos? And are transcendental categories part of the cosmos? I think we have to say that yes, they are part of the cosmos because their scope applies across the universe. But how does it follow, or how is it that the transcendental? How do we know that the transcendental categories were or weren't affected? Right?
To me, it's simple because, like, like I said, him telling me this and having these criticisms of tag, because it was like a criticism I hadn't heard of. Like, okay, like let me wrap my brain around this, and like I kind of have this vague sense like this feels like some kind of category error, but I can't put my finger on it. And to me, the answer really does. I mentioned this on another stream that the answer seems like it's revelation, that we're arguing for the full worldview.
Right.
And that even you saying that we can't do this line of argumentation because it's a fallen world is appealing to the revelation that we're arguing for anyways. So I feel like that's like where it cuts itself off at the knees. And I haven't brought these musings in my head. It's kind of buzzing in the back of my head. I'm like, I'll be doing yard work or whatever. Like, what is my friend saying? I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. And like, I haven't tried to push the ball forward in that respect. Yeah. A lot of times like my friend will be saying stuff and I'll just be like, I'm just gonna let you talk, man. Like, he's very, like I say, he's very knowledgeable. Read like 50 times more books than I have, and I've read a lot of books, and always interesting conversations with him. But lately, yeah, he's just like, for whatever reason, like he used to say, oh my gosh, Jay Dyer's so smart. Like every time I listen to him, like I learn something. Now he's like, what the heck? The whole thing is stupid. This whole argumentation doesn't make any sense. Like something just like switched.
Does he ever claim that there's no absolute knowledge?
My friend, no, I don't think he would say that. But he says, like I said, he said that he's not like, why don't you like the tag? Well, because of these reasons. Okay, let's just grant, let's try to move past, like, just grant that there's actual answers for the reasons. Well, I just don't think it's a very convincing argument. Okay, what are you convinced by? The phenomenological argument. Well, if just the fact that I'm here and I have existence and being, and there's so much to life that, to me, like, how could it be anything but God? And this is like what he's convinced by personally. I don't think that's an argument that would convince anybody, because they could always just, say the same thing. We're back to I'm Matt Slick and I had the burning in my bosom. I'm a Mormon. I have the burning in my bosom. I am a woman. I am a woman. I am a woman. And, like, it's just, if it's all just relative at that point. But
you better let him in the women's bathroom now.
Right. I don't think he's not arguing for relativism, but it's like he's at the point, he's read like every philosopher you could read, and he's basically at the point where he's like, yeah, human philosophy is just like a waste of time, and I've wasted my life reading this, and I just believe in God. It's kind of where he's at.
Oh, okay, that's weird, because in a sense, I mean, the point of tag is to point someone towards the nous, towards God, right? It's not to be like an end all. I don't think he understands this. He thinks that this, quote, Dyer's epistemology system that he's criticizing is this like end all sort of orthodox autonomous epistemology. No, we believe in theonomous epistemology. God is our ultimate epistemic dead end. So he's still so that's weird that he says that, oh, I don't care about philosophy anymore, I just believe in God. Good. I mean I hope the Christian God.
Yeah, he's Orthodox. He's Orthodox.
Okay, good. So I think he just fundamentally misunderstands tag. And also when he says that he's not convinced and that all the other, I can't remember all the reasons you said that he said, but I didn't actually hear really an argument. Like, tag is an argument. Where is his argument to compare tag to?
His only argument that he gave was simply the one where, how would you, the distinction between the transcendental categories before and after the fall. but Mr. Westford, you said earlier you would answer it as if it's, you know, revelation. That's exactly how I would answer it as well. The transcendental argument is something that is revelatory in nature because, you know, every single second that you spend here on Earth, God's necessity is always at work.
Right.
And that's how we would understand it. I mean, to give props to Joe, what he was saying earlier, though, you know, are the transcendental categories affected by the fall? I wouldn't know how to answer that exactly, but what I do know is that since the fall, the noose that man has been blinded, and that's why
Right.
it says that man's wisdom is as foolishness unto God in many different ways and aspects. So just because, you know, we always like to distinguish between the reasoning aspect and the revelatory aspect. So can we not can we use our reasoning? Yes, we can. But our reasoning, I believe it is affected. But I believe that the tag is just revelatory. So that's what.
That's so agree. I'm just through my own musing of trying to, because it's interesting his critiques, because there's ones I haven't heard. You hear the same ones when you do tag over and over, and it's supposed to just like people not understanding it. But I think he understands it, and it's interesting that he doesn't like it anymore. But just it being revelation, I think is the defeater against his argument. And if I had to say, well, let's just grant that the transcendentals in some way are fallen because of the fall. I would say it's probably not the transcendentals themselves that are fallen, but because our noose has been darkened, our connection to those transcendentals would be in a natural state where it's like implicit and you know, in the childlike innocence of Adam and Eve. They lived in such a more spiritually connected life that we would have trouble even understanding, to where after the fall, there was this darkness that in their noose that kept them like, now we relate to the transcendentals in like an intellectual way instead of like the spiritual way, and it's harder for us to rise to those same spiritual heights. It'd be something like that to me. It'd be what I would grant. Be if there's some kind of effect to the fall, it'd be in us and not in the transcendentals themselves.
That's definitely something to investigate, because in the Orthodox conception, at least, you know, Adam was a prophet, priest, and king over creation.
Right.
And when he fell, he lost his rank over creation, his dominion over creation. That's why we see everything's disordered. It was on a cosmic level. He had a cosmic control of the entire world, not just the Earth itself, this one planet. But every aspect of the Earth, and as well as I would say the cosmos, and that's why, you know, some people like to say that's why there's craters and stuff, you know, in the cosmos, that like are on these planets. But would it be it wouldn't be proper to say that the man is governing over the transcendental categories?
Yeah,
like
they're not a product of man's mind.
Yeah, they're not. If they're not a product of man's mind, then they probably wouldn't be affected. They wouldn't be affected because God's the one that's governing those categories. But it's our issue. Ultimately, all the issues that we have starts with us and not usually with the transcendental categories. But the reason we have issues in like the cosmos, we would say like, and stuff that we had dominion over, is because we don't have dominion over it now.
Right.
Or at least till Christ came and allowed us to again.
Yeah, as the second Adam, as the man who had the offices of prophet, king, and I just lost the other one. Prophet, king,
priest.
Sorry.
Priest.
Yeah, and he had all those offices, and he didn't relinquish the crown. He didn't lose the crown, and in him we were able to take up the dominion again.
I see. All right.
He might push back by saying, well, okay, Apo, the transcendental categories are not a product of man's mind, but the external world isn't either. But the external world is full of privation and you know, corruption. So how do you know that the transcendental categories themselves aren't also full of that privation?
Yeah, because the external world is what we had dominion over before the fall. And the reason that they're corrupted now and disordered is because we fell and we don't have dominion over it now. So if we didn't have dominion over the transcendental categories, then it wouldn't be the case that they'd be corrupt.
And maybe to follow up with what you said, maybe we'll never have dominion over the transcendental categories.
Right.
Yeah, we won't. We're not granted that. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right. I think that can be a satisfying answer.
Yeah.
It is definitely an interesting critique, though. Maybe we
Right.
should call in and to Father Deacon or Jay and ask him that question.
I did call into Jay about 2 weeks ago and asked him. I had 3 bullet points of what my friend had said, and Jay kind of gave like the answers I would, like, oh, your friend who's saying that there needs to be a systemized account of every different worldview. I've addressed that 1,000 times. Sorry, not trying to be mean, but like, there's only so many starting points, and it sounds like your friend just doesn't understand. I don't think Jay like gave bad responses, but I think he definitely didn't do what we're doing right now and try to grapple with it. He gave I think satisfying responses, but I don't think he was like, okay, let's grant that and try to work it out logically, given that
Right.
we've granted it, kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's the answer I would give. I would give that one, and this, like, I'm not an apologist, so I wouldn't want to give actual Orthodox doctrine to
Right.
mix in with that. I would. Just say
This is philosophy, like musing, trying to logic out a critique. Not I'm not saying any of this is like official Orthodox doctrine or dogma by any means.
Right,
This is
right.
just me
Don't
trying
take what I say.
yeah, this is me trying to through my own expertise, which is very limited, to go, okay, if that was a legitimate critique against the Orthodoxy, what would be your response?
Right. I just want to say to anyone in chat, don't listen to what I have to say.
Yeah, like I said yesterday, Father Dr. Deacon Ananias, even Jay Dyer, Kotel, the Royal Path with Father Turbo. Those are like your spiritual vitamins. Like, it's good to go to church. That's your meat and potatoes. It's what's going to sustain you, and it's good to take vitamins too. But definitely don't take vitamins without the meat and potatoes. You're going to die if you do. And I'm the potato chips. I'm the spiritual potato chips. I'm the Orthodox potato chips. And you know what? I'm not made with seed oils. And the good thing is, lots of people love potato chips. So I'm going to be able to reach some people because they're eating potato chips anyways, and they're going to reach in the wrong bag and pill me out and be like, that's a good potato chip. No seed oils. Great. And I don't try to pretend to be anything other than, 2 chili dogs and a 6-pack of beer. That's all I am.
Yeah, of course. I use the example of protein shakes and a workout. Like,
yep.
The theological knowledge is the protein shakes, and the prayer in the spiritual life is the workout. Why would you just be drinking the protein shakes over and over again?
You're gonna bulk up.
Very unhealthy.
You're gonna bulk up way.
Because they taste good.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything else you guys want to add? We do have at least a couple minutes of a video that Skeptic said he wanted us to unpack. I literally have no idea what he's talking about.
Skeptic's asking questions in the chat.
Oh, gotcha. We can.
No, questions aren't allowed around here. You think you can question us?
How dare they?
Yeah. Hey, Apophatic, if you truly are 13 years old, did you start studying at 8?
I started studying philosophy around 9 months ago, 11 months ago, maybe almost 2 years, a year. I'm sorry. It's around 1 to 2 years, probably.
That's crazy. You're not really 13, are you?
Yes,
Please?
I am.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he is.
See, now I mentioned this early in the stream. I feel weird that you were my first super chat because I know that you gave me your mom's money now. So it's
Oh no, I gave you my Pay Piggies money.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay. That makes me at least feel a little bit better. I was having some moral conflict in my own heart there. But I'm glad that's resolved.
Are your Pay Piggies your parents?
No, my Pay Piggies are not my parents. Some Orthodox.
Oh, all right, cool.
Wait, who's Bartholomew? Did I give somebody named Bartholomew? I have a really good friend named Bartholomew. I don't think he's ever watched me. I don't know who you're talking about. Well met, you all. Let's give this video a watch and see what the heck Skeptic is talking about. Okay.
He said around 2040. 2040, yeah.
Oh, he's asking for like what's happening here, I guess. Is this liturgical? I don't even know. Probably.
I'm not a guru with the chants or anything.
I think you're asking the wrong channel. You should probably just go ask Orthodox Mean Squad somehow. What's the other part? I thought I was gonna like
Go
I
in the
saw
comments.
This.
The comments of the videos always
comments turned
always-
off.
Oh dang.
Is it not in the description?
Shazam, you got Shazam or something? Can you send me the video?
I have it on here, so my Shazam's not going to pick it up. It says music is Amudu al Rab.
It's
so it's
Madu
a
al-
choir of psalms. It looks like.
No, that's only one song. It's not
one part
no.
of it?
Yeah, that's not if Madu Ara. I know what that one is, but that's not it.
I couldn't tell you what part of the liturgy that is. I apologize.
Oh, that's the. I know what that is. I know what it is. It's the prayer rope song in Arabic, but it's sung by a man and woman. I can sing the song.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna send it to you. Prayer rope Arabic. It's a specific one, but anyways, yeah, I'll send it. in the
Well,
subject.
hey, we talked about this before you came on, Apophatic. But are you a Buddhist?
Am I a Buddhist?
Are you
No.
secretly a Buddhist? Are we all
No.
secretly Buddhists?
No, you asked that question yesterday as well, I believe.
Well, yeah, Tiffanal showed up and said that we all were.
No, I'm not a Buddhist. Contrary to popular belief, Orthodoxy.
It was a very quick. Yeah, it was a very quick thing. You were like, "No, it's not. We don't believe in monism," and that was all you got to say. So, yeah. Why aren't you a Buddhist? Why is Buddhism and Orthodox Christianity compatible? He said that it is.
No.
Okay,
Because
there
they
you have it,
tried,
folks.
they tried to the Buddhists. They tried to connect their consciousness to Gautama Buddha, and they tried to, in a way, do what Christians or Eastern Orthodox Christians do, which is, trying to become more Christ-like, but they tried to become more like a man, and they're basically trying to seek their own salvation, which is apotheosis. So it's not compatible, because the only man that we should be trying to imitate is the holy apostles and the saints, and men that actually knew Christ, that really knew Christ's love.
So what's wrong with saying that we shouldn't kill? I mean, what are you saying that's wrong with that? Can't we just both agree? I feel like we're having the same conversation over and over. Can't you just agree that we shouldn't kill?
Shouldn't kill what?
Anything.
Anything? Oh yeah, that's one of the tenets of Buddhism.
Yeah, that we went over earlier.
Well, animals don't have the same souls as us, and that's what distinguishes between murder. So we can just, murder kill as many animals as we want. Not to say that fasting's not implemented. We can be vegan and a Christian. That's perfectly fine. But when you start to say that, hey, you're not allowed to eat any animal, not allowed to kill any animal, that's when it starts getting a little bit, that's where we disagree. Like, you can be a vegan and be Orthodox. That's completely fine. But when it comes to the Buddhists, they believe that you have to. That's one of their tenets.
Wouldn't it be entirely impossible to follow the Buddhist tenet of killing nothing? Because would that apply to plants? What would you be able to eat without killing anything? Wouldn't you have to kill yourself to not kill anything? But you'd still be killing yourself. So isn't it entirely impossible not to kill anything?
Well, I think that they rationalize it like you're supposed to be vegan. So anything that's not plant-based, they put a
plants are
restriction
alive
on
in
it.
some way.
That's true. That's very true. That's a critique you could try and implement. But then they would have to try and distinguish between plant life and what they mean by you're not allowed to kill any life. That is
Right.
I
Again,
don't
it's
know.
just like you'd actually need like exegesis of the tenet itself without
Yeah.
just anybody can just abstract whatever meaning they want. Oh yeah, as a Christian, I say we shouldn't murder, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we shouldn't defend our homeland.
What? Autonomous theology projects?
Logan, you always have such good little thing. Okay, who's got the unicorn right now? Who's got the unicorn?
I thought he got torn up.
Yeah, I guess we can. We all have a piece of the unicorn. If you close your eyes and you feel around in the darkness, and I've got the horn, and wow, it's still plushy, and you've got the leg, and it's plushy.
I got the octopus tentacle.
Sorry, it is actually an octopus. That's a.
Hey, why aren't you affirming him? That hurts his feelings. I know he's not with us now, but
yeah, he's gone to the great
the great nothing.
I was trying to look for, like, he's gone to the great daycare in the sky or whatever.
Oh my god!
He's gotten to the great Build-A-Bear in the sky.
Build-A-Bear.
Apophatic. How would you respond to the, the perennialist story that's always told? We all are going up the mountain, and we're just taking different little, rabbit trails to get to the same top. We're all going there. If you close your eyes, and we're all, blindly searching for the truth. And let's say the truth is an elephant, but we don't know it's an elephant. I'm a Roman Catholic, and I feel the trunk, and wow, it's long, and it's rough, and it's moist in the bottom. And you're a Hindu, and you're feeling the toes, and you're like, wow, this thing's like got a lot of girth.
Oh.
And I'm a Protestant. I feel the tail, and it's like bristly. And somebody else up here, they're a Muslim, and they're feeling the ears, and it's like really thin and leathery. Aren't we all just feeling the same elephant? Even if we don't realize it.
That sounds like natural. That sounds like natural theology.
Basically, yeah.
But the way I would critique this is that if you were like I think I said this on your stream once. If you are seeking nothing that is false and only seeking the true and what is true with no predisposition towards anything, and you're also seeking you're not wandering off the path, and you're seeking the way, right? And you are not being ensnared with death and poison, then you are going to seek the life. And as long as you do that, you're going to find Jesus Christos, Jesus Christ. And not the Jesus. There's only one Jesus. There wasn't multiple Jesuses that existed, or the multiple messiahs that existed. There was one Messiah, Jesus, one new Adam Jesus that was the only sinless one, that could fulfill the role that Adam could not. Not the Muslims' fake Jesus that was not God incarnate. Not the Roman Catholic version of Jesus who spirates the spirit and is also a cause. Not those Jesuses. Right?
Not the Aryan Jesus, not the Nestorian Jesus,
yes,
not the Mormon
right.
Jesus.
Not the Oriental, Miaphysite, one feces Jesus. No.
Not
only
the one feces.
Oh my gosh, dude. They hate when I say why is a transliteration like that, dude? It's so anyway, so there was one not the one nature, there's two. There's more than that goes into this, but we're not all seeking the same thing. It is black and white. It's life and death. Eastern Orthodoxy is life. Everything else is death.
I'd also add that if we make an analogy between coming to a conclusion in a logical, correct manner and coming to the truth of the true faith, the perennialist position seems to act like we all get to the conclusion, like the rules of how we get to the conclusion, the truth, it doesn't matter because it's all the same. And our position is like, no, there's a very specific form of justification. There's rules on how we go from premise to conclusion. The route where the quote maze we take is there's an objectively correct one. The perennialist is saying, or maybe even the syncretist, the guy is like, no, we all justification is the same. We always get to the same conclusion. But that's kind of begging the question, because first of all, we all need to have the right conclusion that we're moving towards the right truth or the right goal, the right telos, right? And some of these religions that are not Christian, they don't even have goals, like objective telos, or maybe they have a different they have a different truth or quote truth, or they have a different God that they're moving towards. So it's like, it's kind of complex on answering this, but basically what I'm trying to say is, we assume that there's a right route, and we also assume that there's an objective or right truth. The perennialist is saying all truths are the same, all routes are the same, which is not how logic works. It doesn't work like that. So
Prodigy is asking, is murder and killing in war the same thing?
No.
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 Murder is the unjustified killing of an innocent person. Killing in war, depending on what side of the war is on, if it's a holy war or not, it is a defense of other people. And in the case where you're defending a country which has men, women, and children in it, and you are fighting other men that want to kill those men, women, and children when they can, or if they want to, right? They want to take it over and subjugate them or whatever. That's not murder. That's not the same thing.
Tiffanal.
Ah, the universal Buddhality.
Tiffanal's here.
By the way, Prodigy, join up, man. Come on, we need you.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Appo. Sorry. I just
No,
excited
it's completely fine. It's fine.
We were,
Well, I mean,
we were really wishing Tiffanal would come in to chat with
Yeah.
us, because we were musing about Buddhism.
Tiffanal, I do mean to interrupt both of you actually, but Tiffanal says depends on who writes the history. I would disagree because that's like a relativistic thing. We're trying to say like objectively from the Orthodox Christian worldview, which we believe is the objective truth. Is there a difference in murder and killing in war? And I would say there is, because murder is typically premeditated. It has to do with your heart and what you intend to do. Even though you could say it's the same act of taking a life, in that way it's the same, but it's totally different motives, and they'd be totally different modes of culpability. And we would say that if a soldier goes to defend his homeland in war, he would still be damaged in a spiritual way. He would typically be excommunicated, not being able to take the Eucharist for 3 years as a penance. And it's not because we hate you for defending our homeland, but it's I give this example modern day, like with Kyle Rittenhouse. He killed, I believe, 2 people in self-defense. And there's all these conservatives being like, oh my gosh, I wish he killed more. Like, kill all the libs, kill them all, whatever. And they cheered him on as an American hero. And I'm like, I mean, even if it was justified and it was self-defense and he defended himself, like this man took lives, and it's very sad that the people he killed in self-defense weren't able to have more time to repent and overcome what they needed to overcome in their lives, and that we should address the actual trauma and the actual damage that Kyle has to his soul because he took lives. No matter what, if you take a human life, you're going to be damaged spiritually in some way. And that's the difference between self-defense and being a participant in a war versus killing your fellow man, especially in peacetime. There's a difference in intentionality and difference in the damage it does to your heart. They're both going to damage your heart, but definitely at different levels.
Right. Yeah. Basically what I said, but more in depth and a lot better than I can explain it.
Also, yeah. I am actually all right, folks. I'm kind of retarded, so just go talk to your priest. Go email a priest if you don't have one, and definitely verify everything I'm saying with another perspective of somebody who has clerical authority.
Yes,
please. I'm just your 2 chili dogs and a 6-pack of beer. That's all I am, folks.
Sounds like Christian Mario when he does his Jay Dyer voice a little bit.
And Kyle, it is important to remember that Kyle Rittenhouse is a good Buddhist, just like all 4 of us are right now. Just want you guys to remember.
I'm many things. I'm a man. I am an Orthodox catechumen. I'm a soldier, but I am not a Buddhist.
I'm a black man.
And Tiffanal, you are. I have the link there. If you'd like to talk, we will not be combative. We will just have a normal discussion, and we might ask you, pointed questions that we'd like an answer from. But that doesn't mean that we have any ill will towards you. If you'd like to jump on and have a conversation.
I'll tell you why I'm not a Buddhist, because all of the disciples of Jesus Christ were practically fishermen, almost all of them. Not to mention, one of Jesus' miracles is multiplying the fish
that were eaten.
Yeah, exactly, that were eaten.
So Tiffanal, are you a vegan? Would you say that we read a bunch of different forms of Buddhism earlier, and we read the five tenets that we think are the ones that you abide by, and we believe the first one is basically thou shalt not kill, that we should not take life. Are you a vegan? What is your definition of that? Because I think we would agree to a certain point, but we are very skeptical that we have the same definitions or the same perspective on even what your tenets would be. You're saying that fishermen are Buddhist. This is what I was saying earlier at the beginning of this. It seems like you're saying everyone is Buddhist. You're a Buddhist. I'm a Buddhist. Look under your chair. There's a Buddhist.
I mean, isn't that basically how all monism works?
Who is not a Buddhist? Is somebody here not a Buddhist? Can I be a Satanist Buddhist? Can I be a Hitler Buddhist? A tiny mustache man Buddhist? What is
Austrian painter Buddhist?
Buddhist is trying not to kill.
No, Buddhism is that you can't.
Did Paul wait 3 years after helping Christians before taking part of communion? I can't say specifically. It's entirely possible. I mean, I'm sure he had to have. I'm sure he had extreme contrition of heart.
13.
13.
I believe it was 13 years that he waited until he started preaching again and doing apologetics.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the exact tradition, so I'm not qualified to answer that. But Apophatic says the tradition is that he waited 13 years.
I think that's what I've heard. Don't trust me, but there was a Bible verse, I believe, about it. I have to find it.
What Bible? I thought Orthodox didn't read Bible.
Yeah, we don't have sola scriptura, which means we hate the Bible.
Oh yeah, man.
Actually, because we read the Bible, we affirm sola scriptura because we have the Bible. So how could we deny it? You're a sola scripturist. I'm a sola scripturist. Look under your chair. There's a Bible.
Exactly. But my favorite thing that I like to tell Protestants that makes them really mad is that the Bible made me Orthodox. Oh my goodness. I was in Gio was there, but I was a part of the atheist helpline that Darth Dawkins ran. And Darth Dawkins was mad because I was a mod in his room that had the Eastern Orthodox role. And he said, "Why are you Eastern Orthodox?" And I said, "Because I read the Bible. The Bible made me Orthodox." And I knew that would make him mad. And he started yelling at the top of his lungs to ban me. He was like, "Ban this guy from my chat. Never come back here again."
That was such a perfect response, bro. And I also lost my atheist helpline moderator role because I was guilty by association.
Yeah,
I didn't even say anything. I was just Eastern Orthodox, and I was there.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
All these ortho bros need to get out.
Oh, are you really about to pre-sup? He's about to pre-sup. Kick him out. That's similar. My spiritual father says that he grew up like Calvinistic kind of Protestant, and he was a Protestant pastor for many years, and the whole church ended up being baptized into Orthodoxy with him, but like 2/3 of the congregation left. But he said like he was just reading the Bible, and he like he'd just read a verse and be like, "What? An altar? What? It's really his body and blood." And he's like, after like, because he'd read the Bible like his whole life, but something in him, like he read it and like suddenly he was like, "Well, I've read the Bible so much that I'm not a Protestant anymore. What am I? Like, who am I?"
Yeah, it's really astounding. I started reading the Orthodox Study Bible and reading like the Church Fathers' commentaries and notes in there, and it's just like, yeah, it's actually perfect. I'm seeing it all in there just from the Church Father commentaries. Like it almost seems obvious once you have that.
Sorry, you guys can go on. Sorry, I was talking to somebody.
I was waiting for somebody to like take what I said and word it better so that it's not, dumb.
Well, I was talking to somebody
I
at
was doing
my house. I
some-
didn't hear you. We were all not paying attention, Logan. I apologize.
I'm
Say it
so
one more
sorry.
time.
Oh, it's all right. That's the best part. Don't pay attention to Logan.
No, I feel
That's
bad.
probably the best advice you can give on this stream.
Well, what did you say? Sorry, come again.
So like the y'all were talking about reading the Bible so much you become Orthodox,
Right.
and like starting to read the Orthodox Study Bible and with the Church Fathers commentaries in there and everything. It all seems so much clearer just from those excerpts in there pointing stuff out, and it's like, oh yeah, no, that's right there. That all lines up. It all makes sense. It fits so much. It all makes so much more sense than what was it? An autonomous theological / epistemic system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's like people like, where is this in the Orthodox Church? Where is this in the Bible? Like, there's tons of stuff. If you're able to, it might not be like a ton of evidence. It might be like a couple of scriptural evidence is like 2 or 3 verses or 1 verse. But there's evidence of icons. There's evidence of relics. There's evidence of altars, of incense, of praying to the saints. It's like tons of it's in there.
Yeah.
There's one.
yeah.
I can't remember. I think it's Galatians off the top of my head. That I believe Paul is like talking to the people who were like in Greece or something. I can't remember exactly the quote. It's in there, but I can't tell you the reference exactly. But he's like saying the crucifixion, which you yourselves have seen. And it's like these people were nowhere near where the crucifixion of Christ happened. How is he talking about them seeing it?
I know what you're talking about.
He's talking about the icon of the crucifixion that they would have seen.
Yeah. The verse that I mentioned to Protestants that really like it makes them so mad. What ends up happening is I mentioned what is it again? It's the book right before the New Testament. Malachi. I mentioned Malachi. Saint Justin Martyr in his dialogue with Trypho mentioned Malachi as the prophecy for the Eucharist and the Eucharistic miracles and stuff along those lines. And what I tell a Protestant is that, well, it says here that the Gentile church is going to be the ones that are going to be offering up incense to God and sacrificing upon an altar with an offering. And I asked, well, where does that happen in your church? Your church, I don't believe your church offers incense up to God. And I certainly don't believe they have an altar which they, give a grain offering. And they literally start molding. It's hilarious because they'll be like, well, your church ain't the one that was prophesying the Bible. KJV 1611. You don't follow the Bible, man. Tell you what.
Which verse in the Bible does it say that I should be only reading the KJV version? Which verse is that again?
The same spot where it says only the scriptures are necessary.
Yeah. I like to ask Protestants, do you believe in the Nicene Creed? Or, do you believe in Nicaea 1, like the council?
A lot of them will say they do.
Right. A smart Protestant will say, I just believe in the creed. But usually, like you said, most of them will say, yeah, I believe in the Council of Nicaea. Oh, duh. So then I take them and I say, okay, well, let's go read the canons together. And then I show them the canon where it makes the deacon, priest, bishop distinction. And I'm like, does your church follow the bishop, priest, deacon distinction? And then I show them the canon that says that deacons aren't allowed to handle the Eucharist. And I'm like, do you have a diaconate? And are you, is the priest confecting the Eucharist? Do you believe in the literal presence of Christ? The real presence? So like just by this simple question of, do you believe in the Council of Nicaea? And then you show them the council, what it really says. I mean, the creed alone can debunk it. But I'm saying like show them the canons. It's kind of an easy introduction question.
Yeah, once you bring the canons, because like Lutherans will say, well, yeah, of course we believe in it, but it's like, well, do you read it the same way that they do, and do you agree with the way that they read it? Well, I agree with the creed. It's like, well, the canons say you have to read it the way that they intended it to be read. So,
yeah.
Oops. And we are going to close it down here in about 5 minutes, or we're going to hit the 3 hour mark, and then we'll be closing it down. We can keep going though until then.
Bill in the comments.
Bill, Adam Green. That's just Aryan Jesus.
Rabbi Green.
I do want to say one thing.
Okay.
Skeptic, you said you were trying to read St. Justin and his dialogue. What I recommend is reading 28. That's where it talks about what I'm saying right now. So
Is that the
just wanted to say
dialogue
that.
with Trypho the Jew?
Yeah. The where he mentions Malachi as the proof for the Eucharist.
Right.
It will make Protestants literally tear their brains out. Like they'll pick apart the pieces of the brain.
Oh
yeah.
Mark Livgren, our resident Calvinist, is asking: is the Bible inerrant from the Orthodox perspective?
Yes.
It is as inerrant as the holy tradition from which it was produced.
I would agree. So to expound upon what Logan just said, we would say that the Bible is inerrant, but you can have misinterpretations of it, which those would be inerrant. But we would say that the Orthodox tradition of how we read the Bible is inerrant, and that all of our dogma is correct. But if a certain different Protestants will have things about the way they read the Bible and the way they do their exegesis that are wrong. They're wrong.
Right.
But that's not a fault of the Bible. That's a fault of not knowing how to read the Bible and not understanding the tradition and how the Bible, what its original context was and how it's meant to be read.
Oh, that goes along with today's magic phrase, autonomous theological exercise.
Yeah. We got a Kenneth. I feel like Kenneth jumped
That's
on.
Tiffanal.
It's
Tiffanal. Okay, that's right.
Hey, Tiffanal.
Hey, Tiffanal. We got. I wish you had jumped on earlier. We got another 4 minutes from hopping off.
Why do you do this, Tiffanal?
Every time you hop in just the last second to say
I
something.
think he's scared, man. I think he's scared of the dar from coming out of me, man. Got that dog in me.
That chili dog.
Chili dog.
That two chili dogs and a 6-pack of beer. That's all we are, man.
Football.
We are. Chili dog nation. What you got for us?
Destiny.
Hey.
And she took her ass fab and she scored over 90.
What am I hearing?
I
I'm hearing the stream. I'm
I
hearing
heard an ASVAB test.
I don't know. Whatever I'm hearing, it's Buddhist.
No,
It's so
ASVAB
good.
is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. It's a series of questions to figure out what jobs you qualify for in the military.
Kenneth, are you like in a Navy recruitment office at the moment? What is happening?
I think
Sounds.
he's trolling.
Well,
Kenneth.
It's either an echo of me or somebody's repeating what I said.
definitely heard. I think he's got the both.
He has a stream open.
Twice. How do I?
Yeah.
How
So
do I
yeah.
stop-
So you need to have the StreamYard open, but close down the YouTube because then it'll echo because you have two things playing at once. So that's what you need to do. Take the tab. I don't know what you're on the YouTube.
I did
Close
what
that.
you said.
You got it. Okay.
I appreciate it. I'm not used to calling into shows or anything crazy.
I did the
like
same thing the first time I did. Don't worry.
Welcome to the atheist experience.
I'm not like these young bucks. You know, I've been 26 years in the military, but I'm just
I got you.
real busy. I took my daughter to take the Air Force test yesterday for the ASVAB. She scored over 90, so she did pretty well. Real proud of her. Anybody who can score over 90 on the ASVAB is pretty cool.
Glory to God.
Nice.
And I wanted to read just one little small thing about the precepts of Buddhism.
Okay.
It's abstain from killing. There is no concrete. It's try, because Buddhism is about the struggle. It's about the journey. Abstain from stealing. Don't steal, but try not to. It's the journey. You try to be the best you can be. And that's why I think all of you are Buddhists, because I believe you try to be the best you can be.
Okay.
Abstain from sexual misconduct. That means don't be having intent when you see someone. Those thoughts, those intent thoughts, which you can share in Christianity, those are the same. So abstain. Abstain from wrong speech. Don't take the word of the Lord in vain. Whatever you want to do, Abstaining from wrong speech, whatever you define that is, you abstain from that stuff that you know that you shouldn't be saying, you don't say. Abstain from it. Then abstain from the use of intoxicating substances that cause inattention. So that means abstain. That means moderation. That means or don't do it. Gives you the option, but it's the struggle, it's the journey, it's the show. And those are the only 5 things you need to do to be a Buddhist.
Here's the difference.
Believe whatever you want to believe, whatever single possible mythological thing you want to believe in, that is good for you and it is respected.
But here's the difference,
I say
man.
you're a Buddhist, whatever journey you're on. I'm not criticizing you. I'm not attacking you.
Yeah. We're not saying that you're attacking us, and we have no intention of attacking you. We're just asking.
But if you're
we're trying to understand if what you're saying is true from our perspective.
Right.
Exactly.
And I shared the link, but if you're doing those 5 things, there are only 5. Abstain from killing, abstain from stealing, abstain from sexual misconduct, abstain from wrong speech, abstain from the intoxicating substances that cause inattention. That's only 5 rules. And most of those are covered under the 10 Commandments. So that's why when I say someone is a Buddhist, whatever, I'm not trying to label them or draw them into the social group of Buddhism or the community group or whatever that is, because that's not necessary either for Buddhism. That community, that church, that Buddha, the incense, whatever's going on has nothing to do.
This is equivalent to saying that Jesus was a Muslim from an Islamic perspective. This is the exact equivalent. So here's the difference. As a black man from the South, when I look at a piece of chicken, dude, my stomach starts rumbling. I get really, really hungry. Now, in Buddhism, I'm not allowed to eat any animals. Okay?
Nope, not true.
That is 100% true. I studied Buddhism. I did study Buddhism.
You've studied pop Buddhism.
Dude, I will rob over some chicken,
You've
dude.
studied all kinds of unorthodox Buddhism. Buddhism
I did
at
not-
the root is only 5 tenets. What you're
Yes,
doing
do
is
not
magical
kill. Do
Buddhism
not
of
kill
different
means you're
Buddhist
supposed to be
groups.
vegan. You're not allowed to kill animals. That's what they believe
May
in.
I have the talking unicorn?
Yeah, I thought the talking unicorn was ripped to shreds.
Buddhism only has
The metaphysical one.
Those are the 5
Jesus Christ only gives you 2 tenets, which is, love your neighbor as yourself and love God with all your might, heart, soul, and strength, and everything else will come from that.
fairy dust
But
community Buddhism.
but the thing, I'm not talking about community Buddhism. I'm talking about their tenets. The tenets of Buddhism says that you're not allowed to kill animals. That's why when you go to a Buddhist temple, there is no animals that you can cook there. They cook you full vegan foods. Cook you just vegan. I'm okay. Yeah, misquoting and misreading. I haven't quoted you anything.
You're not reading the root of Buddhism. Buddhism,
I'm not-
being
okay.
a Buddhist,
Okay.
you only have to follow the 5 tenets. Do your research. Check
Dude,
it
my
out.
stomach is rumbling right now. I have a nice, really good pepperoni pizza right on my oven, and I'm about to get it. I'm about to eat it. That pepperoni, that pork.
I'm not a vegan.
But in Buddhism, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to think that. You're supposed to abstain from the pizza, from the dairy, from the animal milk.
I abstain from killing. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna kill. I was a soldier for 26 years. Not a problem. I didn't score any really low scores. in
Well,
the
it's supposed to. You're supposed to abstain from it, but in Orthodoxy, we're like, hey, abstain from eating too much, not abstain from eating at all, because that's when you're fasting, right?
No.
We're not always fasting. You don't
No one's
always have to
fasting.
fast.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're twisting words. You're making words sound. There's only 5.
Oh yeah, I have a PhD in philosophical word salad. Thank you very much for
You don't
realizing
have
that.
to enjoy being a Buddhist. You can deny being a Buddhist. That's your struggle.
This is
Kenneth,
like
can I ask you one thing?
Shows that you're a Buddhist. Yeah, Miss West.
So from my understanding, you yourself are a Buddhist, correct?
40 years, yeah.
Okay. Are you any other, like you said, you could adopt other mythologies or other philosophies or religions? Are you a Christian as well? Or do you have any other lenses with which you look through the world, or is it just the Buddhism that is your tool that you look to see the world through?
I struggle for enlightenment. So I have a Quran in the house. I have the Book of Mormon. I have multiple Bibles. I have the Hate Pickles bullshit stuff. Sorry, I didn't. That is not
That's okay.
bullshit. I apologize to all those people. I'm not trying to insult anyone's religion. And so I don't subscribe to, but I took my kids to church. I took my kids to Christian school. I've taken them to hang out with Shiite Muslims, Sunni Muslims. I've taken them to mix with Orthodox. I've been to Catholic church and Catholic mass. I was christened in Rome. But you know, the thing is, I'm a Buddhist.
Well, why don't you take them? Why don't you take them to a satanic mass?
Would Satanism be contrary to Buddhism?
I haven't been able to go to all the cults of Christianity.
Or what about a Gnostic mass? They have an altar, and they, they do their own
Gnostic
kooky.
is what is Gnostic different? Gnostic and atheist are two different ones. Gnostic believes there is something, but they don't know what it is. Is that right?
No. There's different forms of Gnosticism.
Gnostic.
Not agnostic.
Not agnostic.
There's
Yeah.
different. There's Gnosticism and there's agnosticism. They're very different, but they sound very similar.
Agnostic means no knowledge. Gnostic means you have knowledge.
Right.
What about atheists? They just don't believe in anything, right?
I would say they do, but they say they don't. From an atheist perspective, what they will say is that it is just a lack of a belief of God. But I don't buy that. I think that
atheists, they didn't believe in any mythical bullshit.
right.
They
But to
believe
me,
in themselves.
from my understanding, from the way I hear atheists and I try to rationalize what they're saying, they say they don't believe in fairy tales and they don't believe in supernatural, but you can easily disprove that because they do believe in one. There's lots of different ways, but they believe in one miracle because they will say that we just look at the laws of nature and the regularity of nature, and that's how we can describe everything. But we cannot describe the laws of nature and the regularity of nature within those own laws. They can't justify themselves. Similar with empiricism. Go on.
So they claim regularity to nature.
Right, but they don't have a way to justify that. There's regularity in nature, but how does the regularity of nature to account for itself?
It's completely random.
Right. Especially when you conjoin that, the laws of nature and the regularity of nature, with their idea of everything's totally in flux, everything's evolving all the time. We live in this world of abject chaos, but there's regularity in nature and there's laws. It's like, okay, well, those things sound mutually exclusive. Can you please explain, from an atheist view, how those?
Like when you were doing that show that I paid attention to, and the only reason that I'm talking to you all because you seem intelligent, you were doing that analysis of the atheist, and you were playing a role as the atheist supporters of what.
We're trying to be funny.
Yeah, I know. You said this is a humorous attempt at entertainment. I respect that. I like when people try to do things, and I appreciate them, and I promote them, and I think that's great.
Thank you, Kenneth.
I just wanted to contrast and see if you were capable of, not you particularly, but the associates that you hang with, that some of them might be able to understand what it means when someone says that everyone's a Buddhist. Not everyone, but most people. Okay, there are people out there that are not trying to abstain from killing. There are people out there that are not trying to abstain from stealing. So
I got a question about Buddhism, Kenneth.
Then you're not a Buddhist.
And I would say like depending. That's why I'm glad you hopped on, because I hearing what you had said before, like we're all Buddhists, and because of the 5 tenets, and I had never looked them up really. I'm glad you called and got to expound, and we got to hear more of your thoughts. And I still would say I don't necessarily agree with you. I could say maybe I agree if we say with it like that, but I would still have questions about like how we define certain things, or how do we, if you and I are both looking at the tenets of Buddhism, like how do we define sexual immorality and abstaining with that if we have different definitions of that. But I know Jube wanted to ask a question.
With someone on that, but that's about your path. My path and your path. The great thing about Christianity, and one of the really good things, it has a more rigid structure. It has, you can pretty much find within the Bible a lot of good rules to live your life by and to be a good person. Buddhism is kind of effed up in that way because it says abstain from these 5 things, and then you have your path, and you're to find enlightenment. There's no guidepost, there's no light, there's no magical being, there's no system, there's nothing.
There's no system, so it's just absurd.
5 presets, those 5 things, and your goal is to make yourself better. The struggle.
Yeah. Why are we making ourselves better?
Hey, apathetic. I do want to let Jube ask his question, and then we'll let Kenneth respond, and then we've been going past 3 hours. I was trying to keep this at 2 hours, but we'll let Jube ask question, Kenneth will respond, and then we'll say our farewells, and I'll shut down the stream. I'll be doing streams next week. So Kenneth, you're welcome back on anytime. It's good to hear from you. I think you're in good faith. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I'd like to hear more of your perspective and have more conversations. So Jube, you want to go ahead and ask a question?
Yeah, thanks. Ken, if bad things happening to people, unfortunate circumstances happening to people is a product of karma, should we abstain from intervening when something bad is happening to someone, so the karma sort of takes, we let the process happen in order for the karma to sort of balance out? Like if I see somebody getting murdered or mugged, right, shouldn't I just abstain from helping them because that's karma happening to them?
Depends on your path. I mean, it says abstain from killing. Would you be the one doing the killing? Would you be some way subject that you were involved somehow in the killing? You should try to abstain from that.
Abstain from helping, I meant.
The karma thing is another magical part, that we don't need to have worry about, because it's not the root 5 precepts that make you just a basic Buddhist, just a minimum level. Okay, all you're doing is having the struggle, and that makes you a Buddhist. Now, in some of the unique culture, like in Thailand, one of the unique things is that when you get punished by the courts, okay, you get sent to jail. Okay, now let's say that you robbed somebody and you stole from them, okay, in the city, and you stole some food and you were just trying to feed your family, but you stole from the wrong people, whatever, and they found you guilty and they put you in jail. And they might put you in jail right there in that town, but you know what's responsible? Your family's responsible for feeding you, okay? So your family has to feed you at that jail. Now, let's say you did something essay-wise on something we're not going to talk about, but, that's highly inappropriate, okay? You do that, the judge might be, in a good Buddhist fashion, say, let's put you in a jail 200 miles away. Your family still has to feed you. So that if your family doesn't move to that town and start feeding you, you'll die. But they didn't kill you. Your family, by not showing up to kill you, you died of natural causes. You died of not having food. That is a core tenet of Buddhism right there. And it sounds sick, but that's how you look at it. You abstain from killing. You abstain from this. You abstain from that. And those things you already do. Buddhism is a very weak rule source, unfortunately. But once you start struggling through it, after you've spent many, many years, you start to see that if you want to get more enlightened, you want to make yourself more better. I hate saying that, but it sounds funny. I was trying to be human. So it's the struggle. And if you do a little bit of study on basic Buddhism, you got to stay away from all the cult stuff. There's a lot out there, Zen Buddhism, Tantric Buddhism, all kinds of weird stuff. But
do we abstain from intervening of the natural causes? Like, let's say somebody's trapped in a box, right?
No.
And they'll die from natural causes inside the box.
Well, yeah, Jube is asking about the karma, which it sounds like you don't necessarily hold as a core of the 5 tenets, correct?
Correct.
Kenneth, one question I do have before we go. What it would be the main reason that you yourself are a Buddhist? What is the driving force for you to hold to the tenets of Buddhism instead of rejecting them?
They're the best. They're fantastic for at least giving you a good start, and you can tie them to any other struggle that you're doing, because they give you a good grounding. Just like you got 4 wheels on a vehicle, that vehicle may be a truck, it may be a bulldozer, it may be a car, but those 4 wheels is something you start with. So Buddhism is a good way to try to find the path and the struggle. And then the reason I'm a Buddhist and not some other deity following, pantheon following person is, unfortunately, I don't believe in magic. I'm not a fan of it. I don't believe in it. I've never seen it, smelt it. There's been $1 million prize forever for anyone to prove that there's any such thing as magic.
I did it when I did shrooms.
So that's not
magic.
I mean,
magic.
I had one quick question. If Yeah, if you just need to go, it's fine. But
Okay, everybody feel free if you want to say something. But let's try to keep it. Let's try. We're at 3:15 about. Let's try to keep it under 3:20. I want to shut off by 3:20.
okay. So I was gonna ask, are you familiar with like the three major branches of Buddhism? Like I think it's Theravada, Vajrayana, and I always forget the third one.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Verdas. Theravada is the closest one to the root, but there's stricter Buddhists than that, more Orthodox Buddhists.
But we don't have to follow them, right?
No one has to follow anything. It's your struggle.
We shouldn't follow the Orthodox Buddhism.
Okay, but so to kind of piggyback off the question, sorry, I know I'm taking up time, but so do you subscribe to the idea that the enlightening and sort of mentally or spiritually ascending this sort of mortal cycle in Buddhism is a core tenet?
No.
Okay. That's all I had.
Yeah, I want to say my piece. I just want to say before I go, thank you, Mr. Westford, for allowing me to jump on again. Open panel, very nice. Namaste.
The chat and me bows the chat and you.
Exactly. Thank you very much. And good to see you again, Papa Jib. Oh yeah, guys in here.
Yep.
And Logan. And it was really good to see you, Kenneth Copeland. I hope you have a good day. Be
Wow.
sure to blow the kufit away. So yeah, have a good day, guys.
Yeah, we
God
do
bless.
appreciate having you on, Kenneth.
Good to see you, man.
Able to talk to people that don't necessarily agree with you.
Talking to a Pope hat, Logan's Run, Jubilee, and of course you, Mr. Westford. You all
Thank
have
you.
a beautiful day, and I really, really do hope that you enjoy and struggle through your life, and you struggle to reach what you want to reach, and you become enlightened to the way that you want to be. And
Thank you. I wish the same for you, Kenneth. Is there any one last question I would have? Is there any book that you would recommend to either understand Buddhism or understand your perspective as a whole?
You can read the quotes from Buddha himself as guidance. That's only one book, one form. I'd have to look it up and give you the exact link and everything. I'll do that sometime.
Yeah.
I will see you again. But there's only one decent translation so far that I've found. I mean, they're all good, but it's just how the words come together sometimes. And all it is a list of ways. But Buddha wrote very early on, your path may be a path that does not follow any of the path that I've laid out for you. And that's what's really cranks people sometimes, that can't accept the fact that the search for enlightenment is a personal search. It's your search. And the fact that you, as a wonderful human being who already, I know, follows the 5 precepts, can be a Buddhist, whatever you want to be, because it doesn't downgrade you and it doesn't upgrade you. It just describes you.
Well, great. Thanks for that. I've definitely I've read a little bit of Buddhist text. I've read more Hindu stuff than I have Buddhist. But I'll be here next week doing a couple streams, and feel free to hop on if you find the specific thing that you'd recommend reading. Definitely send it to me. Type in the chat. Anything else you guys want to say? We got another 2 minutes before I will hard cut off in the middle of a sentence. I swear.
All right. Would you say the Islamic prophet Muhammad is a Buddhist? Or was, at least?
He didn't try to abstain from killing at all. He liked killing.
So you would say that he didn't follow at least that one. Can you follow some of the tenets of Buddhism, but not all, or do you need to follow all of them?
You need to be trying to follow them all.
Okay. So I can't be like, well, I like 4 of them, but I'm not going to even try with the one, but I'll really try the others.
Why are you calling yourself a Buddhist?
Okay.
You're not
I mean,
trying.
why, if you don't need to follow Buddhism, Buddhism, then why would you even use that word at all to describe yourself, you know? Just be like a 5-tenet person or 5-tenet follower.
The word Buddha is teacher. Okay?
Just like rabbi or what have you.
So saying I'm a Buddhist means I follow teachers per se. So it's not a following of any deity or anything like that. So, and it's just nomenclature. Just like the word infinity is a word that describes all of everything. There is no things to describe infinity because it's a word of itself.
So you really, you're just a teacher of the 5 tenets.
He follows the teachings of the 5 tenets. I think is how he would describe it.
Yeah.
I'm not a Buddha.
Right.
But we should listen to his quotes. All right.
Go away, COVID-19.
I knew it was gonna be something. I knew it. All right, guys. Say whatever you want. It's full reign.
Bye bye, Kenneth Copeland. I want to
Farewell,
see you
Kenneth.
again.
Thank you. See.
Gnosticism.
Yep.